The Winn-Dixie America's Supermarket 300 is now officially underway, thanks to each and every one of you.
Scott Davis, call home, please. Tony Anderson, you need to move your car, or somebody's going to move it for you. Tony Anderson, move your car. Jason Husky, meet Sissy at the VIP elevator. Network. And ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Winn-Dixie 300 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. My name is Bill Dollar. I'm along with Alan Miller here at Towerside, and we'll be going to the Performance Racing Network shortly with Ken Squire and Lake Speed. And we'll be ready for the start of this race in just a few moments. One of the two pace cars is on pit road at the moment. 40 automobiles in what is now, this year, 1986, termed as the Busch Grand National Circuit of NASCAR auto racing, with Tim Richmond on the pole. Davey Allison on the outside of front row, crossing the start-finish line. Alan Miller.
20 Pontiacs out here today. Bill, 8 Buicks, 6 Oldsmobiles, 5 Chevrolets, and 1 lone Ford in our starting grid for the Busch Grand National cars here in the Winn-Dixie 300. Several drivers that have already won this race are in the field. Dale Earnhardt, who won in 1983. Tim Richmond, of course, in 85. Darrell Waltrip, he won in 1979. Bobby Allison, he won in 1984. They're starting today, and the only driver to win this event twice, Morgan Shepherd. He'll be starting in the number 13 position at today's Winn-Dixie 300 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As they journey down this long backstretch here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway heading into the 4th turn, they'll be coming around. I want you to stand up and greet them. The best drivers in the Busch Grand National Circuit here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
A lot of looseness and a lot of scars here in the number 4 corner, where a lot of action was in that Winn-Dixie Challenge earlier today. We're about ready for green.
Yesterday, Richard Petty in turn number 3, slapping the wall twice. Petty is back. He's at the track today, and he's ready to race tomorrow in the DK Ulrich car. More on that story throughout the afternoon. Here we are, bringing the field by. They'll take one more lap before they'll turn them loose in the Winn-Dixie 300 this afternoon. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Once again, welcome to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And if you don't have your tickets for the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow, there's still some available. We urge you to find them.
We're back with you once again here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Alongside Lake Speed will start in the 20th position tomorrow in the All-Pro car for the Coca-Cola 600. You've got to be excited about that ride tomorrow.
Well, I hate it came about the way it did. I hate for Rick Wilson to get hurt, but I really appreciate the opportunity that the guys give me to get in a first-class race car that's capable of running out front tomorrow.
Ready on the brake. What are you looking for here?
a wild scramble. I think you're going to see. You probably got the most competitive field of Sportsman Grand National cars now that we've ever had here at Charlotte. I think there's 70-some-odd entries that have been narrowed down and eliminated down till you got the top 40 cars on the field, and all these guys are hungry when they come here to Charlotte.
300 miles, 200 laps of action on the famed Charlotte Motor Speedway as the field addresses turn number 3. Pace car about ready to come in. Remember, as they come to this race, the point standings currently have the Ironman, Jack Ingram, back on top thus far. He's won one victory and been in the top 5 7 times this year. Then Brad Teague is second, Ronnie Silver third, L.D. Ottinger fourth in the Grand National standings as we get set for a go. Bodine looking to keep on winning. Here he comes to the line. He breaks big out in front by 3 car lengths over Davey Allison. Dale Earnhardt snookers him on the inside. He goes into second place as they hit turn 1.
4-car length advantage being enjoyed by Tim Richmond right down in that bottom groove now. 5 cars over Dale Earnhardt in second. Back 1 more car length in third. It's a car driven by Larry Pearson in fourth. Tommy Houston with a good run midway down the back chute.
Appears to be something wrong with L.D. Ottinger's car already. He's falling back.
Phil? Field coming down on turn number 4, and out in front will be Bodine. Earnhardt settling into second place. As they come across the line, it is 4 car lengths back to the Pearson machine, and the number 6 car, Tommy Houston, winding it up. He's falling into 4th, Davey Allison back in 5th.
Single file in turn number 1 again. Look at Earnhardt smoke his tires as he narrows that lead of the first place car down to 2 car length separation. Is still Pearson riding third. A lot of action off that second corner toward Bill Cannell.
That car of Tim Richmond's was just awesome on the straightaway that time. It looked like he pulled 2 car lengths on Dale.
As they come back one more time, here they are off the turn, and it is the Richmond car out in front. Correction, I think I'd said Bodine. That is Tim Richmond leading in those Levi Garrett colors. The second place automobile, Dale Earnhardt, squares away and goes down into the first turn, now trailing by 8 car lengths to Richmond.
Black and silver Goodrich car of Dale Earnhardt is taking that bottom groove 3 car lengths advantage over Larry Pearson, looking to make a move and challenge for that 3rd spot is Tommy Houston riding 5th as the Davey Allison cars. They're headed to 3. Davey Allison, of course, is back there in the 5th spot, but he's being nailed by Darrell Walter, who has just picked him off. Brett Bodine dead ahead. It'll be Richmond leading, Earnhardt riding 2nd, Pearson 3rd, Houston 4th. They're back to the stripe.
As they come across this time, they're definitely closing in on the leader, Tim Richmond. Inching his way up along the short straightaway into turn number 1 comes Earnhardt.
And he's down on the inside, running 1 lane lower as that time Richmond got high, losing some of his advantage. That's the car that won here last year. Also the pole. Look at Earnhardt on the charge down the back chute, and it's Houston down inside of the Pearson car. It's a dead heat battle for 3rd spot. Right now, Tommy Houston's got just a length out front. He gets him, nails him down on the bottom of the racetrack. It puts Pearson back in 4th. Here comes Mike Alexander. The battle is for the number 4 spot off the line.
Mike Alexander's white and red car down on the inside as they come to the stripe. Pearson on the outside. They're nose even. Running clever to clever down into turn number 1. Alexander staying right there. Pearson with him on the outside.
But Alexander gets his nose out in front now, a car length out in front, and picks up that 4th position, bumping Pearson back to 5th. So down the back chute, meanwhile, your leader is still that number 15 Levi Garrett car. Then Dale Earnhardt puts the charge on, tries to get up there. He cuts it to 3 car lengths as they come diving into turn number 3. Richmond will lead. Earnhardt 2nd, Houston 3rd, Alexander 4th, Pearson 5th. In the 6th spot is Brett Bodine, and running 7th is Darrell Walter.
Rick Mast out of Virginia is the first car. The car that had started in 6th position is now on pit road with the hood up. Let's go to Pat Patterson.
Well, Rick Mast patiently waits while his crew is under the hood right now. Looks like they're going to maybe a spark plug wire is off, or not really sure at this point, but they're up under Ken, and it's a tough break right now because he's going to lose some valuable time.
I'll tell you one thing that's really good to point out right now is that the normal Grand National drivers are really doing well against the Winston Cup stars out there right now. You got 2 Winston Cup cars out front, but from there back, you're full of the, you got a full field of the regular Grand National drivers that are doing a super job today.
It's something if they can pull it off. Remember the last man that did it here was Sammy Ard, and he did it in a lot of style. Down to the inside, the 00 car making its move. That's Brett Bodine hammering away on the inside of Larry Pearson as they fight for 5th in turn 1.
Bodine able to stick well in that bottom groove. It picks up a position, bumping Pearson back another notch, and here comes Darrell Waltrip. The red and white number 17 on the move. Down that back chute he goes.
Bell told me before the race, he said, I may not have qualified good, but I'm going to tell you, that car is awfully fast.
With now 6 laps complete, Donnie Allison has moved from 31st up to 21st. Donnie Allison on the move. Up in front, That car number 15, Richmond, draws away by another 3 car lengths from Earnhardt as he sails at over 165 miles an hour into the first turn.
The Robert G. Prepared automobile certainly showing its colors out here. No tire smoke. Earnhardt, though, showing tire smoke. 6 car lengths farther back, midway down that backstretch, and they're in the view once more of Bill Cannell.
Have a small technical problem in getting to Bill Cannell here at the present time. Trying to get that rectified. Meanwhile, watching them through the 3rd and 4th corner. Richmond stays in front. In the 2nd spot is Earnhardt, and there is a battle developing for 3rd position. As they come to the line, the white, red numeral number 6 is being challenged by number 84. Alexander's on a roll into turn 1.
Mike Alexander, nose to tail, right behind that Tommy Houston car, gets a nose down inside. Houston goes high off turn number 2. Here's the red and white colors of Alexander, but he has to fall back in line as he's down the backstretch.
As they come into turn number 3, it remains Richmond in front, maintaining a 15-car length advantage over Earnhardt in 2nd. The battle for 3rd heats up. Down to the inside comes Alexander. Houston fends him off another time. Another car pulling onto pit road. Looks to be car number 2. What a bad break. L.D. Ottinger's yellow and black All-Pro car. Pulls onto the pit road, and a problem early for L.D. Back in turn 1 go the leaders.
Looks like Bobby Allison is really on the move, too. He started in the 16th spot. He's now at the 8th and on the move.
Leaders down the back straightaway, 6 car length separation now over the 2nd place car of Dale Earnhardt. Meanwhile, Tommy Houston still 3rd, and the Mike Alexander car in the 4th position.
Front 4 down to the turn number 3. That Houston car in the 5th position, and here comes Alexander again on the inside. What a battle they're having. That's Pearson on the outside, and pulling up now is Waltrip in the 17. He wants to do some running of a 00. Brett Bodine feeling some heat out of Darrell Waltrip. It's early in the going. 10 laps have now been completed.
Looks like L.D. Ottinger's getting back on the track with the All-Pro Parts car, too.
Back straightaway and continuing to lengthen his lead. It is the Tim Richmond combination, Rick Hendrick Racing. Richmond, along with Bodine, will be in the front row tomorrow for the Coca-Cola 600 when they come down for the start of the 27th Annual Classic for some $730,000.
Looks like the Allison gang there is closing in on Brett Bodine right now as well.
The magic still seems to be working for Tim Richmond. Tim Richmond in that Rick Hendry combination car for Levi Garrett is in the lead from the very beginning, and Dale Earnhardt in 2nd. Tommy Houston is in the 3rd position, and now well back behind Tommy Houston. In the 4th slot is the number 84 car of Mike Alexander of Franklin, Tennessee. Your lead pack is fairly well spread out. Here comes Darrell Waltrip, who's worked his way all the way up to the 5th position, and a challenge being mounted from Bobby and Davey Allison. Richmond continues to advance that lead upon the challengers, and Dale Earnhardt is still in 2nd out of turn 4. Brett Bodine, Bobby Allison side by side in that battle for the 6th slot into turn 2, and Bobby pulls the lead on him. So it's Bobby and Davey Allison in the 6th and 7th slot behind the lead 5. Out of the 4th turn. And Brett Bodine back in 7th now, driving the old Sam Hart double O numbered car. Once again, as we have 14 laps complete, about to be 15 out of this 200-lap, 300-mile Winn Dixie 300.
Okay, down there now.
Tim Richmond, Dale Earnhardt, Tommy Houston, Mike Alexander, and Darrell Waltrip, your lead 5, end of the 15th lap.
Morgan Shepherd is 13th. Then in 14th is Ingram. 15th is Kyle Petty. Going in the 16th position is Dale Jarrett. 17th is Randy LaJoy. And running 18th is Kenny Bouchard now. Back on the story with the leaders. The story up in front has been Richmond right from the outset, as the Hendrick car now stays just 10 car lengths in front. And it looks like Earnhardt is beginning to reel him in as he comes down out of turn number 4. They'll complete the 17th lap this time by. Going into turn 1, Earnhardt looks like he's closing ground going to Hill Overton.
He very definitely is doing so, Ken. In fact, you know, he's powered with a V6 engine that goes about a lane or two higher this time, moves up to about 3 car length separation now behind Tim Richmond as he scoots down that back straightaway, and it looks like he has that car wired into this track, is moving toward turn 3.
Well, they got some traffic dead ahead of them. Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt running into some slow lap cars as they go high out of the banking at 3 and 4. Now Earnhardt has caught him, pushes on him, gets sideways as he comes off turn number 4.
Down to the start line, and within 1 car length moves Earnhardt as car number 24, Rodney Howard, pulls on pit road. Back to turn 1, battle for the lead.
Sneaks a peek to the outside, does Dale Earnhardt. Now he's up alongside of the Tim Richmond automobile. Meanwhile, back in 3rd spot, it's still going to be that Tommy Houston car, but the battle is down the back straightaway, door to door, turn 3.
It's a dead heat between Richmond and the Levi Garrett, Robert G-Mount, and Dale Earnhardt. Here comes Earnhardt. He will strong arm Richmond, takes him right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Off the number 4 corner. It'll be a strike battle side by side to the line.
They bang on each other out of 4, and they're still even at the line. You can give it to Earnhardt by just about a foot. Back comes Richmond going to turn 1.
And they're practically swap paint going up around a slower automobile for Rodney Howard, who's just coming out of the pits. Earnhardt with a nose out in front, getting side-by up high. Richmond battles back, pulls up along the left rear quarter panel. Down the back chute, it looks just like a drag race once more toward 3.
They got a long way to go, but it's Richmond back on the point, but barely. Here comes Earnhardt, right back on him on the outside. Richmond takes it right down on the draft. Bottom 2, out of the wall. Off turn number 4 comes Earnhardt and Richmond side by side.
And once again, Richmond goes in front by a foot, but at the line, Earnhardt back in front by about 2 feet. The black and silver car of Dale Earnhardt going on the outside, gets a bike going into turn number 1 and tries to move around Tim Richmond.
Handling very beautifully is Dale Earnhardt in that black and silver number 8 car. Has about a car length separation midway down the back chute. Meanwhile, back in the 3rd spot, it's the car driven by Tommy Houston, still another V6.
Still a battle for the lead, but let's pick Houston up. He's in 3rd. Riding 4th is Walton. 5th is at car 17. Of course, they're showing Walton back in 5th. He is not. He's up in 4th. Here's that battle for the lead side by side.
The fans are getting a classic example of the...
We have a car spinning out down on the grass in turn number 2. An automobile skidding up into the low groove coming off of 2. We'll have his number and get back momentarily.
Caution is out. First caution of the day. Herb Treichler has had an engine come out. Herb Treichler has had his engine come loose. And we're under caution for the first time today at 21 laps complete. This is the Performance Racing Network.
First caution of the day with 21 laps complete, and what a battle we've seen between Dale Earnhardt and Tim Richmond. Already a great race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we'll be seeing more shortly.
During these cautions, if you're a bit hungry, be sure to make a stop at one of the many concession locations around the Speedway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Try Andre's world-famous quarter-pound hot dogs, the delicious Future Burger, 8 ounces of ground round on a bun, cold soft drinks, Danny's Lemonade, or one of many more delicious treats awaiting you at all the locations of the concessions here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We take a lot of pride in the quality of foods we serve here, and we bet you'll come back for more after trying one of the many tasty items available now at the Charlotte Motor Speedway and at your concession stands.
Remind you, ladies and gentlemen, if you forgot your radios today, bring them tomorrow and hear the race on WSOC FM 103.7, your NASCAR connection. This is Bill Dollar along with Alan Miller in the tower.
22 laps that have been completed. 22 laps are down, and none of the leaders until this very moment have taken an opportunity to pit on pit road. And now the action takes place where Charlie Harville and Pat Patterson are standing by. Pat?
Well, we'll bring the Levi Garrett Pontiac in. Gary Nelson and crew go to work with plenty of Unical fuel in the fuel tank and go to the right side, change both of those tires. Likewise, Dale Earnhardt is in the Goodwrench Pontiac, and they go to the left side with tires, so maybe a bit of strategy there. And both of those cars are down in the way as pit road is very swamped this time. Charlie, what have you got up there? I'm in the set of Jack Ingram, the defending Grand National champion, and he had to pull around Tommy Houston as he pulled into his pit, which is just south of Tommy's pit. He got right-side tires, and he is off. Quick stop for the defending Grand National champion, Jack Ingram.
Tommy Houston was the first man out. Actually, Bobby Allison got a start, but he was slow through the gears, and then that cluster of cars that came out, it was finally taken in the battle on pit road by Tommy Houston. He made an excellent pit stop and got right back with the program.
There's some classic confrontations that have been taking place out there. It seems like this is one of those races for the fans where there's developments all through the field. Charlie Luck, you know, nobody has said anything about him. He started back in the 37th position. He moved his way up to 24th then. The Allison, it was really something to see Bobby and Davey running together and attacking one another. Their last victim was Brett Bodine.
The great Sam Ard now crewing or running that car for Charlie Luck, which seems to be working pretty well. They've had problems for the past several days in making the car work here, but it's working well right now.
Charlie, this is Tennessee. Go ahead.
Have we got a name? Do we have a name on that guy? Do we have a name on that guy?
North Carolina Federal, 30-second radio.
Name of the guy that spun. Huh?
North Carolina Federal may not be the biggest in the neighborhood, but the neighborhood was built with our home financing. Since 1902, North Carolina Federal has made the American dream of home ownership come true for thousands of your neighbors. That's why so many North Carolinians are at home with us, checking, IRAs, and auto loans. More reasons why North Carolina Federal is everything personal banking should be. 15 locations statewide, member FSLIC.
I talked to Sam last night. All right, we're back with you once again with 24 laps. Now complete, field getting around. The pace car is coming in. The car that was in trouble was the Beard car. It spun, and no serious damage done. It brought out a caution flag first of the day. We're coming back to green after 25 laps complete leg speed.
It looks like a tremendous show again. Everybody's in a mad scramble. You get a lot of fast cars back in the field. This is what everybody came here to watch.
Down they go into that first turn, and as they break away, car number 69, after the shuffle in the pits, is going to take first place. Sterling Marlin is there on the point.
Marlin off of turn number 2 with Rick Mast in hot pursuit as they move down the chute.
Rick Mast trying to catch up with Sterling Marlin. They're in the banking at turn number 3. Puts it down to a car in. Marlin now on the run. He's driving a car for the injured Rick Wilson, who was due to strike that car. Here comes Sterling Marlin in command out of 4.
And Rick Mast is trying to make up a lap. Remember, he was the first car to pit in the event, number 22. Went down a lap in the A.G. Dillard car, and he's trying to get back in there. They're reporting him now down 2 laps. Be important for Rick Mast if he can make one up right now on car number 69 going to turn 1.
Looks like he has a good opportunity working off turn number 2. He has the bottom groove. Now he moves up alongside door to door, and it looks like he's going to do so down the chute.
Gets himself unlapped as he goes around the Sterling Marlin automobile, but Sterling comes right back on him side by side in the banking at turn number 3. Meanwhile, back in the pack in the mad scramble, here comes Dale Earnhardt along with Donnie Allison, or rather Davey Allison. Donnie is taking it in for the day and behind the wall.
They really are coming through the pack like a hot knife through warm butter. It's just amazing.
Rick Mast has made up 1 lap, and it's Sterling Marlin who continues to lead this race. How about this Saturday race, Sterling? Certainly is a good competitive race, and for the moment, after that poor showing at the start, Sterling Marlin's having a dandy day. That J.W. Hunt car out in front, but coming up all the time, Earnhardt is on the move going to the first turn.
He has that D6 powered automobile in the 24-degree bank south end of the speedway, moving off of turn number 2, and Tommy Houston's there, only 3 car lengths back, and down to the inside. Here comes Tim Richmond as he wants to get back to the front.
Tim Richmond on the inside, making his move, trying to fly through for 3rd spot. Richmond is down there at turn number 3, and it's Richmond pulling up a spot. Tim Richmond, the Levi Garrett car, bottom of the racetrack. Rick Hendrick machine trying to close now on Earnhardt in 2nd place. Earnhardt trying to overtake and overcome the number 69 of Sterling Marlin.
And there's a terrible herd of cars going for the 7th position right now. I mean, there's about 8 cars there all over each other.
Bobby Allison trying to fend off Houston down there.
But right now it's Dale Earnhardt down inside of your leader, Sterling Marling. They're dead even down the chute. It's going to be a three-way battle as here comes Tim Richmond to make it 3 wide to 3.
And Richmond has everybody covered. He makes up about 8 car lengths going down the back straightaway, tried to move under Earnhardt. He got his nose up, but he had to pinch the car going into turn number 3 and settle back into second position. Earnhardt will lead lap number 30. In the second position is Richmond. Marlin will be in third. Bobby Allison staying fourth, and Houston is in fifth.
Mustachioed Mooresville, North Carolina resident Dale Earnhardt has the GM Goodrich Pontiac up high now, pulling off at turn number 2, and down inside of him is Tim Richmond, but they have a slower car in front.
Here they are trying to pull back up and put Rick Mast down 2 laps another time. On the outside, as he's handled thus far in the race, it's the black and silver car. Earnhardt, the Goodwrench machine, stays right there, down to the inside, trying to find running room. They may have to split, one on the inside and one on the outside to get around the Dillard car with Rick Mast. Back they go, still side by side for the lead in turn 1.
Spine-tingling moment here in turn number 1 as it's still Rick Mast in the middle. Here's Richmond trying to get down inside. Earnhardt takes the high side. Richmond's going to have to slip up high and fall back in line as Earnhardt maintains the lead, battling down the chute.
Richmond just showed tremendous power 2 laps ago, Lake, as he just clambered up through and took back the entire back straightaway and moved under the leader, Earnhardt, and then couldn't get by.
We're witnessing a classic confrontation of the lightweight V6 powered car versus a heavier weight V8 powered car. The V8 powered car is going to show the dominance early in the races when the tires are cool. As the tires get hotter and the track gets slicker, you better watch out for Dale. He's going to be tough.
Weight advantage with those V6 cars. Back off the second turn and down the back straightaway. Richmond seems to play a waiting game now, much as Earnhardt did in those first 20 laps. Now he pulls it back up again, hauls it down to the inside, closes from 3 cars to 1 car length advantage. Earnhardt in front. It is Tim Richmond in second. Mast, the lap car, is then the next machine across the line. The third place car in the field is Sterling Marlin, but he's being challenged by Bobby Allison. And the battle for the lead heats up at turn 1.
Between the 2 Winston Cup Series stars, almost getting crossed up that time was Richmond as he cut the car, pitched it down, and we have action coming off of 4, Ken.
1 car has slid, and he lands on the bottom of the racetrack. Caution is coming out. Yellow is out for the turn 4 area of the track. We had 2 cars, I believe, involved. One of them has landed on the bottom of the track, now rights itself and is coming down by. Caution is out. Mast is racing hard, trying to get his lap back, but he won't get it from Earnhardt, I believe. Car number 39 spun and collected just a small piece of the wall. Mitchell Clark of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Beauregard's Pontiac, has brought out the second caution of the day at lap 34. This is the Performance Racing Network.
And we're on to caution once again with Mitch Clark of Charlotte on the spin in turn 4. And we have the Tommy Houston car, the Southern Biscuit Flour Buick, that's on pit road for a quick tire change, a little bit of fuel, and back on again. You'll probably see a few pit stops here. With 34 laps complete of the 200-lap, 300-miler Winston Winn Dixie 300. Alan Miller.
Stop by the Oakwood Homes display and find out who you could win a new home, a new car, and lots of other prizes in the Oakwood Homes 500 sweepstakes. Just feel the pride when you visit any of the Oakwood Homes on display at the main entrance here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chevrolet paces the way for all events at CMS, whether it's the high-powered Monte Carlo SS or the exciting IROC 2 Camaro. There's a Chevrolet leading the way here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And quite a rash of pit stops here now. The Skull Bandit number 11, Jack Ingram, is on pit road. This moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cars.
The second of the day is up on the board with 35 laps complete. A lot of people taking the opportunity to pull on the pit road, but no one used the opportunity better than one Tommy Houston.
Tommy Houston came in really quick to he was the first car in on pit road to take advantage of that. Some heads-up work on his crew's part to keep him from being back in the back of the pack. A lot of the lead cars were going to stay on the racetrack, and I'm sure they thought about that. They didn't want to get behind all the slower cars and have to work their way back through the field.
36 of 200 laps will be complete as the field comes by this time. Tomorrow, the 27th annual Coca-Cola 600 here at Charlotte. Tightest field in NASCAR Superspeedway history. Less than a second separates the entire field. That's something to be part of a 42-car field that's less than 1 second apart, Lake. No matter where you go, you're going to have competition tomorrow.
Every year, it's always the same. The World 600 is the hardest race to get qualified for of all of them.
Charlie Harville is standing by on pit road.
I've got Bobby Jones, the crew chief on Mitchell Clark's car here. What happened, Bobby?
I think we got a busted transmission.
Get it fixed?
Well, we're going to try. That's what we're trying to do now, is fix the transmission.
That's Bobby Jones, crew chief on the Mitchell Clark car.
The report is Donnie Allison has fallen by the wayside, had an engine problem, came in, and he said the track is extremely slick. And that's been the case all week long. The qualifying speeds were down for the Coca-Cola 600. Nobody could get a bite with the new tires for the Winston Cup competitors. They're a little harder. They have a new left side compound, and they're using the right side tire that was familiar from Rockingham experience. And between that and the fact that the International Motorsports Association brought some 200 cars in here for festivities last weekend, nobody's getting around very quick, but they sure are creating a lot of excitement.
It just makes for a good old slip-sliding away day, and it's a guy that keeps his head screwed on and keep the nose in front of the tail all day long is going to come out the victor.
That's what Mitchell Clark was doing when he slammed into the banking up here in turn number 4 just a few moments ago to bring out this caution, Ken.
The light is off on the pace car. It's coming down pit road, and we're ready for resumption of the race with 37 laps complete as they come to the line this time. And as they stoke up the fires, get ready to go, it'll be Dale Earnhardt for the lead. In that second spot, Tim Richmond. In third, Bobby Allison, followed by Darrell Waltrip in fourth. Down they go into the first turn with Brett Bodine in fifth, coming to speed.
We're going to have a real shootout here now during this juncture of the race, but right now it's Dale Earnhardt showing a 2-car length separation over Ashland, Ohio resident Tim Richmond as they work off of 2. Then it's the 48-year-old Bobby Allison back in third, and Earnhardt challenging there.
Earnhardt has got his hands full, too, as he's got Richmond on his bumper, but back there in that battle for the number 3 spot is Waltrip and Allison. And then here comes Brett Bodine back in fifth. Here is Richmond and Earnhardt off fourth.
As they come to the line, looking like he's ready to challenge. Going to the outside, going into turn number 1. Richmond, Earnhardt moves right up to the wall. Down to the inside goes Tim Richmond. He finds a hole down there as they go into turn number 2.
He's certainly able to get that left front right down on the broken yellow line, and that pulls him up right on the back deck lid of Dale Earnhardt. But Earnhardt shows good acceleration as he motors toward 3.
Look out, here comes Darrell Waltrip. He's done gone around Bobby Allison's automobile. Waltrip is now up into the third spot, going to get by that lap car of Mast. As he does so, he'll be right up there in the hunt with Richmond and Earnhardt out of 4.
Mast goes high, and down to the inside comes Waltrip. He slithers up through as they come back to the line, and it is Waltrip. Now into third, Allison maintaining the 4th spot, and that 5th position continues to be the 00 as that battle continues up in front. That Bodine holds on to the top 5. Battle for the lead is now even coming out of 2.
It's raging down that back chute, and here comes Tim Richmond up on the inside. Meanwhile, Darrell Waltrip on the move in the car 17.
Dead heat between Richmond and Earnhardt. Richmond will get him downstairs, but Dale loves to drive on that outside groove, does so, comes right back, nails him out of turn number 4. It's wheel to wheel as they come off the corner.
The fencing continues up in front, and it's a dandy battle, the early going. That has Earnhardt taking the high side, right in the elevator around the high banks, and hanging on the bottom. Here comes Tim Richmond into turn 1, putting his nose out in front.
They almost touched coming into that corner, but right now they're dead even. Perhaps Richmond with a couple of feet over Earnhardt, but Earnhardt battles right back to make it door to door. Meanwhile, while they're dueling, closing down is Darrell Waltrip to 3.
Well, let's not leave out the lights. Behind Waltrip in third, running 4th is Allison. Then 5th is Bodine. Here comes that Brad Teague car number 75. He's coming up into the draft. Here's that wheel-to-wheel battle out of 4.
A little squirrely, the Richmond car, and for a moment, Earnhardt had to step over about 3 feet or really get collected coming off the 4th turn. Still side by side. Lake?
I can only read Darrell Waltrip's mind from right here. Him and Bobby Allison are riding back there watching Dale and Tim out there knocking away on each other, and they're thinking, these guys are going to give us a race if they're not careful.
Indeed, they are still even, and they run about 6 inches apart. It got a little close, and we saw Earnhardt move up to give Richmond a little more room coming out of 4. What about it this time, Bill Cannell?
Darrell Waltrip is there, but Richmond and Earnhardt do war. Here comes Waltrip right. He looks 3 wide to the stripe.
3-car battle for the lead. Number 17, Waltrip, puts his red, white, and blue colors right in the midst of it. He goes to the inside on Earnhardt for second place.
Waltrip gets down in the drafts behind Tim Richmond and seems to help Richmond nose ahead of Earnhart. Earnhardt's bumped up to the outside off 2, but he still maintains second spot over Waltrip. Back in third, Bobby Allison, 4th, Brett Bodine.
There are five cars in that lead draft. It is Richmond, Earnhardt, Waltrip, Allison, Bodine. It'll soon be 6 because here comes young Brad Teague as they exit 4 and head to the stripe.
Brad Teague moving around Davey Allison, who's fallen back into the 7th position now. Back to the stripe another time. That 8th position overall is Morgan Shepherd. He's also on the move. Battle for the lead continues to rage.
And Earnhardt takes Richmond up toward the wall and picks up the lead again, but now sliding high is Dale Earnhardt. Richmond battles back down low. He jumps to the inside. Here comes Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Allison, Brett Bodine.
Definitely they'll make it 3 wide this time. Waltrip looks to the bottom. Won't get there. Maybe so. It'll be Richmond taking over the bottom groove. Earnhardt's got a nose out front of him on the outside. Maybe Darrell will look to the inside as they exit 4.
44 of 200 laps complete. This time by, it's still dead even for the lead. Waltrip lined in third, Allison in fourth. Now it is Brett Bodine on the outside. Moving around. He's taking one car as they go into turn number 1.
What a show. You can literally throw that blanket over the top 5 automobiles is being led by Dale Earnhardt, then Tim Richmond, Darrell Waltrip, the chain down the back chute, Bobby Allison and Brett Bodine again.
The battle is for second. Waltrip has gone to the outside of Tim Richmond. Here comes Bobby Allison and Brett Bodine to stick their nose in there. Waltrip goes to second. Richmond drops to third. Now Allison wants a bit of the action.
And Brad Teague continues to close. It's becoming a 6-car battle now, Lake.
This is Southern stock car racing the way it's supposed to be. If people don't like this, they better go get their head examined.
Davey Allison, he's also clambering up through. Remember, he started up in the front row. He's running back just behind that pack +1. Brad Teague, 10 car lengths back from the front 5. And Davey Allison comes next down to 7th position. Morgan Shepherd continues to show his colors. He's moving up through traffic, and Morgan could be a contender in a race that he's won here at Charlotte, this Winn Dixie 300. Down out of turn number 4, Earnhardt maintaining a slim lead. He now extends it to a 4-car length advantage over the white, yellow, and brown colors of the Levi Garrett team. The Rick Hendrick car in second spot and trying to close. On the high side, we're watching car number 17 taking a neat line into turn number 1, closing up on Richmond. Out of turn number 2 goes Darrell Waltrip into the back straightaway.
Waltrip tries to go to the inside, can't do it, so Richmond will single file it with Earnhardt in the lead. Now here comes Darrell. He is down, got a fender alongside Tim Richmond's automobile. Allison will wait for Brett Bodine, and Brad Teague has joined that 6-car duo off of 4.
Lake, the interesting thing is in 1 and 2, Waltrip went all the way to the wall as he found a ways to go, and down here in 3 and 4, he's right on the bottom of the racetrack. That car's of the handler.
Yeah, it does. It appears he can go wherever he wants to. I think the guys are trying to line up a little bit and not let Dale get away from him. They were racing each other pretty hard, and Dale, he just jumped right out there.
Averaging 131.4 miles per hour. 2 caution flags thus far, not of serious consequence. The first to the 6th position. Now, as they battle at over 160 miles an hour, 1 3/10 of a second apart. 1 to 6, and they're back to Bill Cannell.
It is Earnhardt leading off the point as they come out 4 sideways almost as Richmond. Then Waltrip 3rd, Allison 4th, Brett Bodine 5th, Teague is 6th.
There's Brad Teague coming across in that 6th position. Davey Allison maintaining 7th. Then the lap car of Rick Mast, followed by car number 66. Let's not forget that Rusty Wallace is still very much a factor in this race. And after Wallace comes Morgan Shepherd. Back straightaway, and for the moment, Earnhardt is dominating by 12 car lengths going to 3.
Earnhardt continues to pull away from Tim Richmond. Meanwhile, Richmond has his hands full with Darrell Waltrip. Brett Bodine is fighting off Brad Teague. Teague wants to go down on the inside of him and looks that way out of 4.
49 laps complete this time by. Extending the lead is Earnhardt, Lake.
I'll tell you what, that Morgan Shepherd's putting on a show down there, too, the 3rd, 4th turn, too. He's not leaving any paint on the wall up there. I think he's keeping it warm. He's so close to it.
He's running with Mike Alexander and Larry Pearson at this moment as they go into turn number 1, fighting on the tail end of the top 10 positions. Story is up in front. Earnhardt has it hitched up in that beautiful black and silver car, screams down into turn number 3, and draws away to now a 14-car length advantage in heavy traffic.
He picks traffic as he comes off turn number 4, threads a needle, heads into the tri-oval. Meanwhile, using it to his advantage is Waltrip and Richmond.
As Earnhardt continues to wind away from the field, we're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification and then give our stations 2 minutes to bring you these commercial messages. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Once again, Bill Dollar in Towerside along with Alan Miller. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you to the Froze Fruit for their Froze Fruit Lap Leader Awards. $20,000 in lap leader money contributing during the race. And at lap 10, Tim Richmond won $2,000 of that. Our leader at lap 30. Now, lap leader at 30 and at 50. Dale Earnhardt picking up $2,000 for each one of those leading laps at 30 and 50 for $4,000 so far. And throughout the total of 200 laps in this race, a total of $20,000 will be given away at 20-lap intervals past lap 10. Again, Tim Richmond picking up the $2,000 at lap 10, and Dale Earnhardt picking up another $2,000 for each lead at 30 and 50. 100% natural frozen fruit on a stick, available throughout the Speedway. Also, Froze Fruit is sponsoring the Froze Fruit Lamp Leader Awards for the Winn-Dixie 300 here today. And to those people at Froze Fruit for their participation in racing, we say thank you very, very much. It is a significant battle. There it is. Dale Earnhardt, Tim Richmond, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Allison, and Brett Bodine. And then working his way from the 9th to the 6th position, Brad Teague in the number 75 Food Country USA Pontiac. L.D. Ottinger's had trouble since the beginning of the race. Is on pit road in the All Pro Auto Parts Chevrolet. And it looks like the hood's going up on that car, yes, and that means significant problems. Earlier, it seemed to be some sort of ignition problems, and hopefully they can get that underway again for the fine people of All Pro and their involvement of racing here at the Speedway and on the Grand National and the Winston Cup circuit. Sunday, May 25th, for the Coca-Cola 600, the Charlotte Transit System on tomorrow will provide park and ride services starting at 8:30 tomorrow morning until 11 o'clock, leaving every 30 minutes from the following locations: the Coliseum, in the back of the Coliseum in Charlotte, Independence Boulevard, Freedom Mall out on Freedom Drive behind Sears, Tryon Mall near Hardee's out on North Tryon, at the Marriott uptown Charlotte, downtown on Trade Street, and the 3rd and McDowell Streets at the Adams Mark and at Quality Inn. Return from the Speedway back to location starting at 4 p.m. until the crowd is thoroughly accommodated. The round-trip cost is only $5. One way is only $3.
Completed in the Winn-Dixie 200 today. Dale Earnhardt is setting his sights on another victory here at Charlotte. Earnhardt is out in front. Richmond is maintaining the 2nd position. Darrell Waltrip is in 3rd, and currently the 4th spot belongs to the Bobby Allison team. In 5th spot is Brett Bodine, while in the 6th position is the efforts of Brad Teague. Running 7th overall in this race, car number 95, Davey Allison. And in the 8th position, the late report has Rusty Wallace there. 9th position is Mike Alexander. In the 10th position, Morgan Shepherd. 11th, Larry Pearson. In 12th is Tommy Houston, and he is moving up. I think he just took 11th position. Back into 13th spot goes Jack Ingram. The 14th place belongs to Sterling Marlin, and 15th on the field is 47 Kyle Petty. The 16th position now, as we get an update, is being shown as car number 45. We'll check that one a little further back for you. That would be Charlie Luck's car. Charlie Luck in the 16th position. Earnhardt has won $4,000 in the Froze Fruit bonus program here today. Remember, he's been doing pretty well of recent, leading the Winston Cup standings and a major contender tomorrow in the Coca-Cola 600.
There's no doubt that Dale's having the best season that he's ever had in his racing career. They've just been right there, capable of winning every race this year. I told people that if you stop and compare this year to Bill Elliott's last year, the difference being that Dale could have won every race, not just the speedways.
Car number 2 is back behind the wall. They're continuing to work on L.D. Ottinger's car. It's parked right in front of the Unical station, directly across from the start-finish line. It looked like it was coming out and then made a abrupt right-hand turn and just sits there now. They've got it jacked up another time. We'll try to get a report on L.D. Ottinger's car from Charlie Harville and Pat Patterson down on pit road.
I think that's a new car, and they're just probably having some of the growing pains with that car. That All-Pro car he's done a really good job this year.
Car number 39, which created the second incident for a caution flag here today. Mitchell Clark runs slowly onto pit road.
With LD.
Pat Patterson is there with a report right now as to L.D. Ottinger's problems.
LD, what happened on the car? We got an oil leak somewhere. The car wasn't handling very good anyhow, but we got a bad oil leak, so it looked like we're going to have to park it. It's a tough break. You got a good sponsor locally here in Charlotte. I know you wanted to really do a good job for them today. LD's talking to his crew chief, getting ready to try to get back in it, Kim.
L.D. Ottinger wants to put it back out here another time and try to score some more points. 58 laps complete on the leaders this time by. The story is Earnhardt and how well he's running and how he seems to have the field covered. However, Tim Richmond showed a tremendous thrust of power about 20 laps ago when he came from 9 car lengths down and in one straightaway overhauled 2 leaders. Like that was some exhibition of pure power.
I'm telling you, from the first lap on, that car has had some straightaway speed. I think the weight difference in the tires is the only thing that's allowing Dale to run with him.
Streamlining down into turn number 3. Center groove. Earnhardt closing. Richmond now has shut it down to about 6 car lengths. This thing keeps moving. It must be they're saving their cars and trying to save the tires a little out here.
I think they're probably starting to use that because when they ran there together so much, I think they were really tested each other out pretty good. Now it's going to get down to strategy. It's still a long race to go.
Indeed it is, and it's about 4 or 5 car lengths back into that 3rd position, which now houses Darrell Waltrip. Following Waltrip is the 85 car, and maintaining 4th position, a real serious contender, Bobby Allison, who loves to drive on a muggy, warm day like we're having today, Bill Cannell.
He certainly does, Ken. And I've been watching an interesting battle that you may want to focus on, and that's the Ironman Jack Ingram. Morgan Shepherd's car showing a bit of smoke. He and Larry Pearson, along with Jack Ingram, are battling out of turn number 2. Here goes Pearson by Shepherd. They're in turn number 3, just getting ready to hit the hammer in turn 4. Morgan goes real high. He's showing a lot of smoke trailing the car, but those 3 have been battling lap after lap.
Dale Jarrett has just come down. He ran very slowly in the Nationwide's car across the finish line and went back up into turn 1. He's still moving down to the bottom of the apron at about 30, 40 miles per hour. Dale Jarrett out of Hickory, North Carolina, Nationwide's Pontiac, running slowly and looks like will be a DNF here this afternoon. 60 laps now complete of 200. 2 caution periods thus far in the race, and it's been a Richmond Earnhardt show from the outset and continues to be as they go to turn 1, 3 car lengths apart.
Dale Earnhardt looks like he's still able, though, to keep that car out front. Remember, he had a 200-pound weight advantage going to the V6, so he can shift that extra 200 pounds to another part of the car, and it's enabled him to stay out front. 3 cars over Tim Richmond down the back straightaway.
I don't know. Richmond closes it up to 1 as they come into turn number 3. They're both single file as the Dale Jarrett car continues to try to lip on the pit road. No separation between Earnhardt and Richmond.
Interval is about 3 seconds back to the 3rd position car, which is Darrell Waltrip. Here comes the red, white, and blue numbered 17 in 3rd position, putting the lap as he crosses the start-finish line on the number 20 car of Brett Hearn.
They're moving off turn number 2 at the present time, about a 2-car length differential, as they'll be moving down toward the view of Bill Cannell here momentarily, and it looks like it's going to stabilize at that point.
The lead has stabilized between Earnhardt and Richmond, but back there in that pack in that 3rd place, Waltrip still trying to maybe work the draft by himself. That's impossible. But anyway, trying to reel in those leaders as they come off turn number 4 with a little extra power.
As the leaders continue to average over 137 mile an hour in this race, the car of Dale Jarrett slips back behind the pit wall, comes to a stop just to the right, down toward turn number 1 of the victory circle here, and I believe Charlie Harville is with him.
I'm standing here watching the car now. They have had a drive shaft ready to put in the car. That is obviously what happened. Dale has pulled it behind the wall. They're getting the jack under it now, and one of the crewmen is in the car with Dale. Meanwhile, they're picking up both sides of the car, putting the jack stands under it, and preparing to put a new drive shaft into the number 32 car.
24 cars continue to run in the lead lap. There have been 7 lead changes among 3 drivers thus far in the event. And the battle up in front continues to stabilize. It looks as though it's going to be Earnhardt and Richmond for a while, but let's not discount the Darrell Waltrip effort, which lies there, just stays 3 seconds back. He's watching those 2 leaders.
I'll guarantee you, Darrell, the way he's been driving the last couple of years, he's probably sitting there with his hammer cocked and ready to pull the trigger when it comes down to the showdown.
Bobby Allison stays in the 4th position, and the 00 car maintains 5th, Brett Bodine. And they've been in those same positions, the top 5, over the past 10 or 15 laps. This is not the time to show everything you have.
Absolutely not. I think that Bobby Allison has shown that over and over and over again, too, and he's made his way, cut his way right to the front of this field and has just settled into a nice, comfortable pace.
Watching Randy LaJoie and Charlie Luck going at it up in turn number 3. They've been having a pretty good dice over the past several laps as they fight back in the 16th position. Charlie Luck has 16th, and LaJoie is trying to move in on him. Meanwhile, battle for the lead heats up in turn 3.
Richmond goes down on the inside. Earnhardt's on the outside. They slide out of turn number 4. It's a dead heat to the line.
Another $2,000 up for grabs at lap 70 from Froze Fruit here today at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and looks like someone gave the message to those 2 leaders because they are definitely heating up the competition as they go for the frozen goodies.
Richmond took Earnhardt right up to the wall over in 1 and 2, but Earnhardt gets the nose back out in front as they're going to have to work around the Rodney Howard car down toward 3.
Rodney Howard may be in front and may play a factor in Tim Richmond's part because Earnhardt's on the outside. Richmond is caught. He tries to slide Earnhardt right up to the wall. They get it back in side by side as they come off 4.
Richmond tried to pin Earnhardt, and Earnhardt would have no part of it. He went right to the wall trying to find a hole. Rodney Howard, finally at the start-finish line, the pair get by the lap car. A little close out there.
Yeah, Earnhardt by about 6 inches on that one, I think.
I think he trimmed up a little on the left fender, too. He took a little bite out of it as he came out of there.
Narrowed up the aerodynamics on it.
67 laps are now complete, 68 this time by, and for the moment by 2 feet, now by half a car length. It is Earnhardt going in front to turn 3.
And single file. Richmond falls in on the rear deck as they come off turn number 4. It'll be Earnhardt on the point. Both of them very loose as they come off the corner.
Over 3 seconds back to third, and Waltrip now. The black and silver Goodwrench car stays in front to turn 1.
Moving right up to the wall, they're going to have to work slower traffic this time by. It's still Earnhardt up high. Richmond pinned in just a little bit behind the slower car. Now he edges it up off of 2, and he's going to have to squeeze real tight and thread that needle as they try to go 2 wide toward 3.
About 3 wide. Down the back straightaway. Now it's back to 2 wide, and it's Richmond on the inside again, Earnhardt on the outside. Dale will strong arm you on that upper groove. He'll take the center groove any time. At least that's where he seems to like to run. It's a dead heat out of 4 once again.
Back they come, and they are still dead even at the line. On the inside, it is Richmond. On the outside, it is Earnhardt, and they are even into turn number 1. They know the money's coming up here at lap 70.
And you can't ask for a better matched pair than these two. They've been right there knocking on each other's quarter panels, rubbing paint, trading sheet metal all day long as they head down the chute door to door.
Well, one of them's going to get the money from Froze Fruit, but I don't know which one. Right now, they are hammered down side by side, maybe swapping a little bit of paint. Here again, Richmond slides up into Earnhardt. Earnhardt nails right down, squeezes him out of 4 again.
For $2,000, here they come to the line. They are still dead even. Crowd on their feet. Give it to Earnhardt by about 1.5 feet. The black and silver car rushes out in front and lifts $2,000 out of the pocket of Marty Lefkowitz, the Froze Fruit Director, Vice President of Finance. That's a quick way to lose $2,000 this afternoon, Marty.
Yes, but we love it. It's a great way for us to show our appreciation to the racing fans who have been extremely supportive of our product in the last 3 years since we've been involved with racing.
That was the right place to put him, too. Almost lost it. Richmond sideways up in turn number 3, and he picked it up in turn number 4. Way out of shape, Bill Cannell.
He was, Ken. He almost trucked it all the way halfway around, gathered it back up, masterful piece of driving, and he's still in second.
Now they're pulling away. They have about 3 3/10 of a second now on Waltrip in the car number 17. Car number 2, L.D. Ottinger's coming back in the race. Marty, what Lefkowitz plans to do more of this kind of thing?
Right, we hope to continue to increase our involvement in racing, and especially here at Charlotte. The fans have just been tremendous, and it's our way of showing our appreciation.
Thank you for coming by. Nice to have you with us. We watch Morgan Shepherd come in, and the hood is going up on the black and silver number 7 car. Bad break for Morgan. Love to see him race. I always hate to see him fall out. And as someone was pointing out here a few moments ago, he has his own line around this place.
He's an exciting driver, I'm going to tell you. He really is.
Gets it right up and takes it on the high side, and where nobody else goes, up there where those angels are hanging out, that's where you usually find Morgan Shepherd flaunting the colors of whichever car he is for that week. Number 7 is in. The hood is back down. Don't know how serious that problem is. He's coming back out. Looks like he's going to do some more racing here today. We're at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 1.5-mile bank track, and preparing for tomorrow's 27th annual Coca-Cola 600. The overture to that event is the Winn Dixie 300 this afternoon. Some 40 cars started the out, and with the present time, Donnie Allison is among the few that have retired. The Dale Jarrett car is still being worked on and repaired. We'll get an attrition report for you before too much longer this afternoon. 73 laps are now complete, and it has been Richmond and Earnhardt giving a marvelous performance. At the present time, Earnhardt is in command of the race. Waltrip lies in third, and sandwiched in between is Tim Richmond.
And for the lap leader money so far, it appears that Dale Earnhardt has picked up $6,000 from Froze Fruit, and at leading laps 30, 50, and 70, Tim Richmond, who are leading at the 10th lap, picked up $2,000. Total of $20,000 from the 5 people at Froze Fruit. Bill Dollar here, and here's Alan Miller.
Very important announcement concerning the Speedway Club. There's a price increase that will immediately follow the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow, so be sure to stop by the sales office at the main entrance and make your depository to assure your membership at the pre-construction rate here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the prestigious Speedway Club. 200 laps, of course, this afternoon make up all the activity for the Winn Dixie 300. 75 laps in the books, over $219,000 on the line for these tough competitors. And right now, at the top of the cream of the crop are 2 drivers that have won this race before. Dale Earnhardt, Tim Richmond. They're battling it out today, Bill.
You know, we talked about this earlier, Alan, that
75 laps now are complete here this afternoon in the Winn-Dixie 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Looks like a record crowd is being entertained by a battle that features Dale Earnhardt's black and silver car number 8, fending off anyone that gets close to him. And the man that seems to get close to him but can't deal with him is Tim Richmond in the Levi Garrett car. That's been the battle. Meanwhile, Walter...
Somebody's in the wall, turn 1.
Got a car just grazing the top of turn 1. He'll over
The Glenn Sears automobile. Glenn out of Apex, North Carolina. A couple of races he's won for ARCA here a year or two back, but he had trouble with the turn 2 wall as he skittered along the wall. Now he pulls it down the back straightaway, underpowered. Looks like he's going to take it on around.
And there is no caution on the speedway. No caution on the track after Sears, who had started in the 40th position, the Apex, North Carolina driver, grazed the wall. Let's see. We have a quick report from Charlie Harville as to the condition. We've got one car, Charlie Luck, in trouble. Luck has been having no luck at all here. Sammy Ard was telling me yesterday that they just can't get the handle on the car. The front end or the back end just isn't working. First it's one and then it's the other, and they're having trouble finding the balance on the car.
And that ain't work good through the grass right then.
Little agricultural racing here today at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, the car that just tagged the wall, the Sears car, has come around and gone back to the garage area. That will be a retiree. 77 laps complete. At the halfway distance of the event, which would be 100 laps complete, there's $5,000 up for stakes. The Charlotte Motor Speedway does a Methodist job of getting money for these drivers that run in these events. It was the big event like tomorrow, the Coca-Cola 600, but the ancillary events as well, such as the Winn-Dixie race today, which is no small event in the lives of these Grand National drivers. With us right now is Lyndon Newsman, Grocery Products Brand Manager, Campbell Soup Company, and it's your $5,000 that those young gentlemen are going to go for in just a matter of, about 20 laps from right now, 21 laps next time by. How do you feel about getting involved in motorsports?
Well, we're real excited about it, and we think that it's going to be beneficial to us and beneficial to the drivers and the fans, and we're real happy and look forward to the future.
We see a lot of new sponsor names in racing this year, names that are not synonymous or familiar with the aftermarket business of motorsports. Names like Crisco on Buddy Baker's car, and Folger's Coffee, and Campbell Soup showing up. What's bringing you into the sport?
Well, we're trying to watch what our customers like, and our customers like NASCAR racing, and so we're happy to be involved with it. It's a good, wholesome sport, promotes our product and promotes quality racing.
Have you met the two drivers battling for first place?
Yes, I have.
Which one would you like to see take the $5,000?
I'm not going to say at this point because I may have to talk to both of them afterwards, so either one will be fine.
All of the smart lady. Politics and everything. We're going to take a 2-minute break. No, we're going to take a 1-minute break and let our stations along the network have the opportunity to bring you some messages, and then back with that run for $5,000 at the midway mark. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Charlotte Motor Speedway welcomes our good friends from Consolidated Coca-Cola Bottling Company in Winn-Dixie, sponsors of this weekend's racing activities here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're proud to have them as part of our team. Remember them and their products the next time you shop, and let them know you're glad they support the sport of NASCAR stock car racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Good, Alan?
Thanks, Alan Miller. It is still Dale Earnhardt, Tim Richmond, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Allison, and working his way up to the 5th position now, the 75 car, Brad Teague. His 81 laps are complete, and his 200-lap, 300-mile Winn-Dixie 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Skies a little bit more cloudy than they were earlier this morning. Still very prevalent cloudy sky with us, but no expectation of rain so far. Very slight chance of showers, about 30%, and nothing seen on the radar anywhere around us. So racing is on. Dale Earnhardt into turn 2, and about 12 to 15 car lengths behind him is your second-place driver, Tim Richmond. And the leaders are out of turn 4. Dale Earnhardt and Tim Richmond. And they're up to the stripe. Positions are being spread out quite a bit much. Here's your 3rd-place car, Darrell Waltrip, across the stripe, and your 4th-place car, number 85 of Bobby Allison, which is well back now across the stripe.
He didn't give a Goodies Headache Award yesterday, but he certainly gets it for the week as far as I'm concerned. He took a terrible thrashing, but he's okay. As we reported earlier, he will race D.K. Ulrich's car tomorrow. He was kidding in the press box earlier. They said you had a memory fade on it because he did get a slight concussion. He said when he first woke up, he didn't know what track he was at. He didn't know he was in Charlotte. He didn't know that he'd been practicing. And when he got to the hospital, he asked someone, "What year is it?" I think it was his son Kyle that said, "Don't worry, Reagan is still president." Anyway, from there he goes on. He said, now he has his memory all the way back to when he hit the wall. He said, I remember going up into turn 3 and cranking the car down to get in there. And they had a tire either equalize or deflate on the right front. That's the one you don't want to have go down ever. And he said, I could see the wall coming up, and the car kept coming straight. And he said, I knew it was going to hurt. And it did. It was a bad crash in 3, and then unconscious, he came all the way back to the start-finish line in the grass before it finally came to a halt. Petty is all right. Didn't much like staying in the hospital last night. Says for a king, those beds don't match up. He said usually when he goes to the hospital, he sleeps in a chair all night. We'll be back with more from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 86 laps are complete as we focus in on the halfway after this message.
Reaching the halfway point indeed in 14 laps, 86 now complete. And we were discussing this earlier, Alan Miller, that 3 drivers have started from the pole and won the race. David Pearson in 1980, Harry Gant in 1982, and Tim Richmond in 1985. Tim Richmond could set a new record here if he does win the race after starting on the pole this time. And there's quite a bit of prestige to go into that with the competition level that is increasing on the Busch Grand National circuit now.
Of course, many of these drivers come from all over the Carolinas, Tennessee, Virginia, in the invitational schedule that is included in this Winn-Dixie road race.
45, they're going to put some tires on the right side of that machine that we saw on the grass just a few moments ago. Here we are at 88 laps complete, and the situation is this. The black and silver Goodwrench car, Dale Earnhardt, is maintaining first place in the Winn-Dixie 300 this afternoon. Some 5 lengths back in the second position, it is Tim Richmond. Then it's a big margin, 4.5 seconds. Back to third spot, number 17, Darrell Waltrip. He is running in third. Maintaining fourth, it goes to Bobby Allison. Allison is beginning to have his hands full. A lot of competitors moving up. Brad Teague is in there running very hard and trying to overcome whatever Allison can do here today. Teague has come back just a little now, maybe a half second from the Allison effort. Those are the top 5. We're 12 laps away from $5,000. Let's pause for station identification and a minute message from the stations along the network. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Charlotte Motor Speedway with 89 laps, number 90 coming up here, and we'll see who crosses the line as a leader, and it's apparently going to be Dale Earnhardt to pick up another $2,000 in lap leader money from the Frozen Food Company. Dale Earnhardt, your leader. Tim Richmond still behind, several car lengths in second place. Dale Earnhardt approaching the stripe. And Tim Richmond is closing in on him. Quite a bit of rubber marks on the side of Tim Richmond's car. Dale Earnhardt, now at 90 laps complete, gets the bonus money once again from Frozen Food Company, another $2,000, Alan.
Eastman Kodak Film available in all the Charlotte Motor Speedway souvenir stands and the new Eastman Kodak Film Center locations in the infield. Also, Eastman Kodak is sponsoring the Kodak Film Lap Leader Award for the Coca-Cola 600. So welcome, Kodak dealers, to the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Your leader is on pit road. Dale Earnhardt is on pit road.
91 laps are complete. The story is on pit road. Dale Earnhardt is in. Here's Pat.
Now the number 3 Pontiac comes in for his right side tires and the Unocal gas. And it looks like that Earnhardt's, all of his changes so far have been the right side tires. We're waiting right now as we think that the number 15 car, Tim Richmond, also will be in, and Darrell Waltrip's crew also ready to service those cars here in just a minute. Again,
coming down into the pits, it is Tim Richmond. 92 laps will be complete on the leader this time, and the lead would go over to car number 17. This would put Waltrip up in front for the moment as they come in to change rubber, and they're changing left side tires on the car number 15 for Tim Richmond. $5,000 up at stake at the midway point, 100 of the 200 laps to be run in the 300-mile Winn-Dixie race here today. Quick stop on car number 15, and away goes Richmond. Now, car number 95 is making its way onto pit road. That's Davey Allison, who's been running the 7th position. 13 cars are running the lead lap, and they're averaging 141.269 miles per hour. 11 changes among 3 drivers thus far in the battle up in front. 93 laps complete this time by. Question is, will 17 come in? He's going down to turn number 1 hill. How's he trucking through there?
Well, he's been doing extremely well all day. We've noticed that both he and Bobby Allison have taken an extremely high line, just as Darrell does this time, up above that broken yellow line up in the high groove. Bobby Allison doing the same thing each time through, so we'll keep our eyes on through. Watch now as Darrell is down toward turn 3.
Davey Allison is having trouble getting the car fired, and this poor guy...
We got a car going back onto the truck with a gas can hung on it down in turn number 1.
We sure do. Throwing gas out in the bottom groove all the way around. That'll be a big penalty.
That's the Jimmy Hensley car. Ridgeway, Virginia's chauffeur Hensley with him dragging down the bottom groove. A lot of fuel coming out of that car off a 2 still attached to the
I'll
pillar
tell
spout.
you, he's lucky it doesn't spark, because if it ever did, he would have a conflagration down through there that would be frightening. Now the fuel has stopped coming out, but I think the tank is still there, is it not?
It certainly is, Ken. He's coming around on the banking at 3 and 4, and I don't know whether he's going back in or not. He looks like he's going to stay on the racetrack, and he is out of turn 4.
95 laps will be complete. 5 laps away from the halfway mark, an additional prize. Black flag is out on car number 63. The fuel tank is not touching the asphalt. It rides up in the air about 6 inches off the ground. Car number 85, Allison, is in second place. Tommy Houston, he's just pitted and comes back into the action. 17, Waltrip is in front. Bobby Allison now is in second position, and we're getting down to 4 laps away from showtime for the $5,000 at the halfway mark.
I think we're probably real fortunate there. That guy's fuel tank must be plastic. It's flapping in the breeze like a rag, and there's no sparks came off of it. It probably saved it. Could have been a tragedy.
We have some more cars coming out of pit road, and car number 63 is the next man to venture there. Jimmy Hensley out of Ridgeway, Virginia, brings his car down. Again, there's $5,000 for the halfway mark of this race, and it seems to fall in Waltrip's lap, doesn't it?
I'm just looking at gas mileage in Darrell Waltrip's car. I'm sure he'd look over the board and say, if I can only squeeze 4 more laps out of here, it'd be worth $5,000. At the same time, Tim Richmond's crew is saying, hey, if he comes in, we get the $5,000. We put you from second to first.
That's right. He'll either collect $5,000 from Campbell Soup, or he'll be in the soup with his crew if he's staying out there and running that thing a little lean, and should run out of fuel around here. But you can burp a car almost anywhere and get back on pit road here.
Here, the speed that you run, the cars will get back.
97 laps are now complete. The average speed goes up to around 142 miles per hour. The lead has changed in the past 6 laps as the 2 leaders, first Earnhardt and then Richmond, pitted. And inheriting first place, Darrell Waltrip in the red, white, and blue number 17. 98 laps complete this time by. Bobby Allison not in a position to move on Waltrip for this halfway money.
I don't believe so. Darrell's out there all by himself. He's, there's just nothing anybody can do. I think the pit strategy here and the gas mileage is the key.
So as the thing stands, back in 3rd spot is Tim Richmond, and in 4th spot is Dale Earnhardt, with the 5th position belonging to Jack Ingram as we get down to the halfway mark. About a lap and a half away from that right now. Hill Overton, any late developments there in turns 1 and 2?
No, we're just wondering and marveling at how the Darrell Waltrip car, the Eddie Jones prepared Budweiser car, the Colonial Bread sponsorship, is able to stay out so long. He's up on the high groove by Bill Cannell in 4th.
Well, it may have a lot to do if you stop and think about it. Darrell's been laying back there where Tim and Dale were battling each other, running, dog eat dog, and Darrell may have been just conserving a little fuel.
Mike Alexander has just pitted car number 84. He's been running in the lead lap in 9th position, and he's away with a very quick pit stop. Alexander comes back on the track. 99 laps are complete as we move now onto the halfway mark of the event. And it looks like Waltrip's going to find himself $5,000 richer. Wouldn't you like to see a Jack Ingram or a Jeff Berry or a Ronnie Silver, one of those guys, take a prize like that, Lake?
I suppose this day's not over yet.
Down they come out of turn number 4. Leaders coming in, and we have a car pulling out of pit road. Who's that, Bill Cannell?
That's Kyle Petty in for a regular scheduled pit stop.
Car number 47 showing a little smoke. I think he's locking up a brake as Kyle Petty comes in. 100 laps now complete, and car number 17, Darrell Waltrip, collects another $5,000 in his fabulous career. Bob Tripp is here, the retail operations superintendent, and with Winn Dixie folks out of the Charlotte area, I believe. Sir, nice to have you here.
Right. Thank you very much.
Nice race, and what a good prize, $5,000 from the Campbell Soup folks. It really has brought out some real racing. It brought out some screen strategy here as we get down to that mark. 17 is now on pit road, 1 lap after he collected the money. Waltrip comes in to collect new left side tires. strategy game as well as a racing game today, sir.
Yes, it sure is. It's a nice day for the race.
Nice to have you here and to have Campbell Soups involved, and we asked the question a little earlier. More and more, we're seeing folks other than motor people getting involved in automobile racing, and you folks are with Winn Dixie directly. You're the sponsors of the Winn Dixie 300 today. Does it fit your demographic? Is this what folks that go to Winn Dixie like to see?
Yes, we're very happy to be associated with the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Winn Dixie 300 because most of our operating area is racing country, and it's certainly enjoyed it. We're pleased to be part of it.
Well, you've got a record crowd out here today. You must feel pretty good about it.
Oh, really do. It looks great. Really does.
Congratulations on putting together a fine event, and of course anything that has the mark of Charlotte Motor Speedway usually comes off as first class.
They do first-class work.
You going to be out here for the pre-race program tomorrow?
Hope so, yes.
It's always a circus. It ought to be good.
Great.
Thank you for coming by today. Bob Tripp from Winn Dixie, and the folks who are sponsoring the race itself, the Winn Dixie 300. Tomorrow, the Coca-Cola 600 blasts away, and the man to my right, Lake Speed, will be right in the middle of it. 20th position, 42-car field.
I tell you, the Winn Dixie Company's got a warm spot in my heart. A lot of people probably wouldn't even remember this, but back early in my career, the first big sponsor, the big company I ever had was Winn Dixie.
And where was that?
At Talladega 500. I wound up, I think it was one of my best career finishes at that time. I finished 7th.
Lake Speed alongside. We're 103 laps into the event. Brad Teague is just pitting car number 75, and we'll bring you more of the Winn Dixie 300 after this.
Chevrolet paces the way for all events here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we want to make a special recognition of the following Charlotte area dealers who make all this possible. McKinney Chevrolet in Belmont, North Carolina, City Chevrolet, Larry J. Chevrolet, and LaPointe Chevrolet of Charlotte, Ben Manette Chevrolet in Concord, North Carolina, and Sonny Hancock Chevrolet in Gastonia. Our thanks to all these fine dealers for their assistance in providing the Monte Carlo SS and the IROC Z pace cars seen this weekend here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Once again, Bill Dollar.
Thank you, Alan Miller. And Tim Richmond again is posted as your leader, now going after his second Pros Fruit Lap Leader Award in money of $2,000 if he is a leader at lap 110. In fact, Dale Earnhardt has collected $8,000 of that lap leader money. Tim only 2 so far, but a very crucial decision, and a decision that paid off well for Darrell Walter to stay out when Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt pitted a few laps back. That put Darrell Walter in the position to win $5,000 in lap leader money from the Winn Dixie folks in Campbell Soup Company at the halfway point of the race at lap 100. But again, to the natural frozen fruit people, we say for 100% natural frozen fruit on a stick, thank you very much. Available throughout the Speedway. Patronize that sponsor because they are making it possible for our drivers to compete and for you to enjoy a better race.
If the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series can get it done, 143.008 miles per hour for the first 150 miles of the event with 2 caution flags. They broke the record by over 12 miles per hour. They really had their act together. I think when they renamed this division, they all started driving differently. That's incredible. A 12 mile per hour breaking of the record at the halfway point. 14 lead changes among 4 drivers. 5 cars remain in the lead lap. And as to those who've fallen by the wayside, Pat Patterson can tell us about attrition.
One's in the garage right now, Ken. Glenn Sears is out of it in car number 61. 62 is John Linville. He had a belt problem. He also is behind the wall. 23, Donnie Allison, one of the early retirees with an engine problem this afternoon. The 7 car of Morgan Shepherd, they are working on trying to get it back out. And the number 12 car, Jeff Berry, also with problems behind the wall, but reasonably, for this point of the race, not that many people out of the race.
Dale Jarrett's car also is having trouble again, and he's just pulling back down pit road and back to the garage area, coming to a halt down there. Dale Jarrett in the Nationwide Pontiac, car number 32. Bad break for Dale Jarrett, who really hoped to have a good day. Still looking for that first big win in what used to be Sportsman, now the Grand National competition of racing. And it's so hard, Lake, not to call them Sportsman cars, to call them Grand National.
It is really hard to break old habits, you know. I think that's what it is.
I understand Billy France finds anybody in the office down there $5 if they call them Sportsman cars, and he himself has contributed a few shekels to this program.
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think anybody could change overnight like that.
5 cars in the lead lap, and let's review for you how the cars are currently running here on the Speedway. Car number 15 is being shown as the leader. Tim Richmond is out in front with Earnhardt in second, and moving into third now is Jack Ingram. Hooray for Jack Ingram. In the 4th spot is car number 21. Larry Pearson's up there. And in the 5th spot in the latest rundown, car number 66, Rusty Wallace, the Aluguard car, which has been staying right in the lead lap, holding on out there, is being reported as in the top group. And I want to have a confirmation on that from scoring. I wonder about getting a lap down. Of course, they've been doing some pitting under green here, and we'll get a check as to how many cars are in that lead lap. At the time when the report came in, a little while, I think we have at least 7 cars. They had 5 cars in the lead lap. I think that was based on the fact that 17 Waltrip was still out here running around. When he pitted, he had a pretty healthy lead on everybody, and we may have more than 5 cars in that lead lap, and among them would be Wallace and several others. Try to bring you up to date on that one.
You know, there's one real story out there that sometimes is overlooked, and I know by the people in the garage area, but from here you could really see it quite obvious. Tim Richmond was a couple of car lengths behind Dale Earnhardt before they came in for a gas stop. His crew put him out to about a 5-second lead from second to first just through that series of pit stops.
You know, with all this extra money they seem to throw off the roof at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for these competitors, we flat missed another $2,000 that was up at the 110th lap from Frosfruit today, and that award has gone to car number 15 out here this afternoon. Richmond collecting a little money here.
And he can attribute a lot of that to the pit crew that gave him that 5-second lead.
But the guy who's collected the big amount of money thus far, $8,000 thus far in this race, has been collected by Dale Earnhardt. Darrell Waltrip's collected $5,000 and $4,000 by the number 15 car for Tim Richmond. Carrying the orange, white, yellowish brown, whatever you want to call that, Levi Garrett color that we'll see on Jeff Bodine's car tomorrow when he winds it up from the pole position, and Richmond will be alongside. And what a story that is. The new Roger Penske, they call him. Rick Hendricks has a combination that is just about unbeatable. Great victory at Dover. They continue to dominate pole position contests this year. Hendrick Racing really comes alive.
Tim Richmond is really loose coming off that 4th turn every lap. That time he was hung out at probably 10 degrees, it looked like.
He's the defending champion in this race. Have you got any comments about why Rick Hendricks' combination seems to work so well? A week ago, IMSA came here, and literally the Hendricks car, that Corvette, the Lola Corvette, saved that race. It was a great thrill to watch it, and it stayed in contention till the final moments of the event. Whatever he seems to turn his hand to in motorsports, it seems to work.
Well, if you've met Rick Hendricks, I think then you have a much better understanding of why the thing works. Rick is a principled human being, a very, very fine man, and it seems to attract other people that are willing to really work hard for him.
Incredible organizer.
And he gets the job done.
Incredible organizer. And the thing I like about him, he leaves the people alone. He gets good people and then doesn't look over their shoulder. And you know how that goes. Pressure can really build on people, and he just doesn't let pressure develop at all around his place.
It can work both ways, but I'm sure that, you know...
This afternoon, Jack Ingram of the top 5. Now Ingram is really beginning to put some pressure on with his Skoll car. He's being shown in 3rd. And the 4th position belongs to number 17. That's Waltrip. Car number 21 just pitted and went a lap down the Larry Pearson car. They had 6 cars before Pearson pitted in the lead lap. And then the 66 car just pitted. That was Rusty Wallace's car. There were 6. Now we're back to 4 cars up in the front-running lap of the Winn Dixie 300. 27th Annual Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow here on the Performance Racing Network. $730,000 at stake. It was Waltrip's weekend. Here's number 11, Ingram, coming onto pit road. Jack Ingram pulling in now, and let's go to the pits.
Well, they bring the Skoll Bandit machine, the number 11 machine, in. They're going to the right side of the car where they'll change rubber there. Jack Ingram gets a drink as they get the Unical fuel in, and this car is handled well all day. They'll take 2 cans on, so he'll be ready for quite a few laps to come, Ken.
Obviously, Jack must have gotten out of sync on the pit stops. He must have stopped a little later than the rest of the guys had to be able to run this far on gas.
18 and 1/10 of a second on that stop by Jack Ingram. Let's go down to Hill Overton for this report in turns 1 and 2.
We've been watching them here throughout the afternoon, and as the track gets slicker, the yellow groove, or rather the dark groove, which the rubber puts down on the speedway, has moved up so high that it's about halfway between the upper broken yellow line and the outside concrete retaining wall. Your fast cars, those are the cars of Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, all of those people are taking it right up above that top yellow line. Right now, Richmond goes up about as close to the wall as I've seen anyone go all day long, but he's up there turning the RPMs and sticking, and that's what it's all about. He's certainly getting the job done here this afternoon.
Phil Cannell, this battle between V8s and V6s is taking on a brand new look as they get into super speedway competition this year.
Certainly is, Ken, and as a matter of fact, I look for those V6s to be the power unit on 90% of the field within the next 2 to 3 years. They're getting their job done out here this afternoon. Very little difference, too.
Tim Richmond with a big lead as he comes down the main straightaway over Dale Earnhardt in the second position. And if we have this right, it's Richmond carrying the V6 power plant. The other way around, it is Richmond with the V8 power plant, and the V6 belongs to the car number 8. Now, that car was running right up there and staying in front. This has been a matter of pit stops that has made this big difference in the racetrack. Really, with only 2 cautions and the speed continuing to escalate, over 12-mile-per-hour record, if they want competition, they really need a caution flag here.
Absolutely. Right now, they close the field up and let these guys make some adjustments to adjust for the track changes. Because definitely with all the rubber and the oil that's been put down, the guys are needing to do a little chassis adjustment.
But all over the Busch Grand National Series this year, the level of driving just seems to have improved. And I kidded about it earlier, but really they changed the title of this thing, and it's like every one of these drivers. They brought equipment out this year that looks so slick. A race like today really looks like a Winston Cup race.
It is. The cars are just the same caliber of cars. The rules are a little bit different. But when you get a field of 70 cars that come down here, you know you're going to have 40 very, very good race cars.
7 7/10 of a second, the difference between first and second place right now. The number 15 car of Richmond and the number 8 car, Dale Earnhardt, in that second position. Let's go back to the pits for a moment. Charlie Harville, can you update us on any stories there?
I can tell you that Jack Ingram, who was the first man to win a race in a V6 engine, did so at North Wilkesboro a couple of years ago, was running a V8 engine today, and his crew tells me they're getting a little better gas mileage with the V8 engine than with the V6 because of the larger carburetor on the V6 engine.
With 78 laps left here in the Winn-Dixie 300, Tim Richmond, Dale Earnhardt, and Darrell Waltrip leading the way. Don't forget to stop by our conveniently located souvenir stands and check out the best line of souvenir items found at any speedway in the world. Complete line of driver and Charlotte Motor Speedway souvenirs available in many sizes and colors. An array of t-shirts, caps, Winston headphones, jackets, hat pins, running short souvenir programs, and much, much more is available for race fans who want to show their support of their favorite driver in NASCAR stock car racing. Don't forget to take something home to the kids. There's a stand waiting for you. Stop by and let one of our friendly sales representatives help you select the item of your choice from the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Thanks, Alan. Still posted as your leader is Tim Richmond, driving the Rick Hendrick Levi Garrett automobile. And this Pontiac is leading Dale Earnhardt, driving the V6. Darrell Waltrip in third. Posted as in fourth and fifth positions. A lap down are Bobby Allison and Tommy Houston. Brett Hearn, the Dicing Racing Pontiac, is now on pit road. Another pit stop here. These probably scheduled at this point, the number 22 car of Rick Mast. Laps make this race. That's 300 miles, this mile-and-a-half speedway at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and 124 laps are complete. When 130 laps come across, there's another $2,000 from your Froze Fruit Lap Leader Award money, a total of $20,000 they've contributed to the competitiveness of this race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway today.
Already Dale Earnhardt has picked up $8,000, and Tim Richmond $4,000 in the Froze Fruit Lap leading $20,000, a grand total to be awarded here at the Winn-Dixie 300 this afternoon at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Back to the Performance Racing Network.
We're back with you at 125 laps complete. Only 2 cautions to date. The speed escalating to 144.096 mile per hour average here in the Winn-Dixie 300. Winston Cup cars getting ready for their final practice period. Boy, this race is hustling through at a record clip today. Could be over early. Give you guys a chance to get some practice in for your cars tomorrow, your all-pro car. Starting 20th in tomorrow's race lake. I mean, right in the middle of all of that. Aren't you a little concerned?
No, absolutely not. It's a long race, 600 miles, and I'm tickled to death to be out there and get the opportunity. I hate Rick Wilson had to get hurt for me to be able to get a ride tomorrow. But I really appreciate the opportunity, the All-Pro Parts people and Captain Cody's a sponsor for the race team, and Morgan McClure, that they picked me after the Winston. We had a good run down there for the invitational race. The guys, I came out here not even just to come out to visit and next thing I knew, I was qualifying a race car, and they've given me a car that's capable of winning the race. I'm just tickled to death.
We should point out that Rick Wilson is okay. He's walking around. He's got one arm in a sling.
We have an engine blowing up in turn number 1 on the number 22 card. That automobile is blowing and going down at a lower rate of speed. He's dropped down to the bottom groove now. The car driven by Rick Mast of Rockbridge, Bath, Virginia, pulling it down the bottom groove and headed slowly around toward the pits.
No caution thus far on the track, Bill Canal. How's he look down there through 3 and 4?
Well, he shut the engine down. He's going to coast in, but undoubtedly there was no oil dropped, at least in the racing group, Ken, because Harold Kinder shows no sign of yellow. We're still full board. Mast will make it on the pit road.
Another 2 laps here, and we're going to have some more money going up for grabs.
Let's go down to Charlie Harville.
We're in the pits of Mitchell Clark, whose car has been out of the race for some time, talking to crew member Joe Clark. Joe, what is the problem here?
We spun in turn 4, which we broke a locker in the rear end. We had to change the rear end gear.
He's going back in the race now?
Yeah, we're going to try to run a little bit more.
All right, that's Joe Clark from the Mitchell Clark pit, and he's going back in the race momentarily, getting buckled in the car right now.
We're coming around now for lap 130 here is another $2,000 for the leader from the Froze Food people. These Grand National drivers out here really enjoying some extra change.
Indeed they are. Great way to cool off on a nice warm day.
Absolutely. The money is almost as good as their product.
And car number 15, almost, huh? Car number 15 is going to take that $2,000. Tim Richmond just walking as he comes down through. Here he is, Richmond continuing to extend the lead now. In the car number 15 is across the line, and he's made another $2,000. Let's review. We have some 3 cars in the lead lap. As we check them now, they are back to 3 cars in the lead lap, with Richmond first, followed by the Earnhardt car, and then it'll be Darrell Waltrip finishing that trio up in front.
Darrell Waltrip better get the hustle on too, though, because Tim Richmond's coming closing the door on him.
4th is Bobby Allison, 5th is Tommy Houston, and 6th will be the 00 Brett Bodine. In 7th is Mike Alexander. Now in 8th is Jack Ingram, and going 9th is Davey Allison. In 10th is Randy LaJoy having a good run today. 11th becomes Rusty Wallace in the latest shakeout, and 12th is Larry Pearson, with the 13th position belonging to Kyle Petty, and in 14th, the car number 69 of Sterling Marlin.
Mast, left.
Trouble here, turn number 4. Mike Alexander is out of shape in the marbles.
He is spinning down out of turn number 4, sideways.
Yellow flag is out.
Coming to a halt just at the top of pit road. He has pit road blocked. I don't think he got into anything too hard. What about it, Bill Cannell?
Nope, he didn't. He really didn't make contact with the wall. He just got around a shape coming up in that high groove off that 3rd and 4th corner, and did a masterful piece of driving. Kept it, of course, away from the infield wall. Came to rest at the entrance to pit row, and he's back under power.
So we're under caution for the 3rd time today. This comes at the 131st lap. 132 are now complete and in the book. And it's a real advantage for several of these top competitors out here.
I guarantee you Darrell Walter was glad to see that thing coming, because it wasn't going to be too long. He was fixing to be a lap down also.
So leaders will be pitting here. The action will be on pit road. I point out to you there was good news and bad news yesterday. The bad news, Richard Petty just stumbled badly up here in turn number 3. Had a tire go down, and he socked the wall almost head on. There's the leader coming in, Tim Richmond. We're under caution. Dale Earnhardt's coming in, and I would presume we'll see the 17 in. This is under caution right now. Let's go down to Pat Patterson.
A real race in the pits, Ken Squires. The right side tires is the choice of the Gary Nelson crew on the Levi Garrett Pontiac. Left side tires here on Dale Earnhardt's number 8, Mr. Goodrich machine, and it's going to be a race to see who's going to get out of the pits first. It looks like that Richmond will get out first while Earnhardt will follow him, but he's got a slow car that's being pushed up pit road, which really could have caused a catastrophe. That's the Thaxton Ford racing number 24 as the action's hot here on pit road.
Car number 24, Rodney Howard's car, still being pushed, having trouble. Here's Tommy Houston coming back out. He's had a good race today. Houston, the white, red-numbered automobile. Let's go to Charlie Harville.
I've got Bobby Allison, who is out of the race. Bobby, what happened to you?
We had a seal in the rear end start leaking, and I could smell the grease I knew that it was a matter of time until they tore something up, so there wasn't any way to fix it. They looked real quick, but there was no way to fix it, so we'll have to watch the rest of it from here.
Will this help you tomorrow? Being in today's race help you tomorrow?
Well, I think it will. I always have felt like that the track conditions change, and if you can get out there and get a little bit of a feel for it, it doesn't hurt a bit.
Bobby Allison watching and getting ready for tomorrow. Thank you, Bobby.
Darrell Waltrip now on pit road for right side rubber. Here's Pat Patterson.
And the windshield gets clean as Waltrip gets a drink, and they do go to the right side of the car. Gasoline into that machine. Mike Alexander also brings his car in as they'll try to get some fresh rubber after the spin he took, which brought out this caution. Interesting note on Waltrip, the last two Grand National events that he's been in, he's won. That was at Dover, then it was at Georgia the week before, so he's trying to get win number 3.
Three former winners, Darrell Waltrip, Tim Richmond, and Dale Earnhardt on the lead lap as they bunch up under caution here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Want to remind everybody to stop by any of the 3 Oakwood Homes displays and register for prizes to be given away tomorrow at 4 p.m. Look for the Oakwood Homes at the main entrance to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, at the tunnel entrance, and at gate number 12. Oakwood Homes here in Charlotte.
We've had 3 caution periods so far in this race, moving very rapidly through it. And as you may have heard Ken Squire talking earlier, that we very possibly be finishing this race at a record time. And we've had our leader on pit road, Tim Richmond. Darrell Waltrip quickly posted as a leader, but then his pitting brought him back into the pack. Tim Richmond, Dale Earnhardt, Brett Bodine, Tommy Houston. And Darrell Waltrip posted in the 3rd position. We'll go back to the Performance Racing Network.
Luck is coming back out. L.D. Ottinger is on his way back to the track, and Ronnie Silver is moving back onto the track another time. As matters stand, we had 3 cars in the lead lap on last report. They've all been on pit road. They're getting ready to resume the race. There's still some safety work going on the track. So let's take a moment here to pause 10 seconds for station identification and 1 minute for our stations to bring you these messages on the Performance Racing Network.
This is Bill Dollar, and along with Alan Miller in the tower here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Alan?
A reminder that the Froze Fruit people here in Charlotte are giving $20,000 to race leaders, different intervals starting at lap number 10. Every 20 laps, $2,000 goes to the race leader. So far, Dale Earnhardt has captured $8,000, with $6,000 going to Tim Richmond. The next lap leader will be given at 150. At lap number 150, another $2,000 from the Froze Fruit people here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
At restart, Tim Richmond shown as the leader, Dale Earnhardt second, Darrell Waltrip third, a lap back, Brett Bodine and Tommy Houston as your 5 leaders are here at lap 136 completed. It should show us 137 completed out of 200 laps for the Winn Dixie 300. We have to say a special thank you to the people at Winn Dixie for their involvement in Busch Grand National Racing this year here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and their continued involvement in years to come. Charlotte Motor Speedway welcomes the good friends from the Consolidated Coca-Cola Bottling Company and Winn Dixie, sponsors of this weekend's racing events here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Proud to have them as part of your team. Remember them and their products the next time you shop, and let them know that you're glad to support the sport of NASCAR stock racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
The field again for a restart here with 3 cars in the lead lap, and those 3 at the present time have Tim Richmond in first, and in second after this pit stop under a caution condition is Dale Earnhardt, and tightened right up on the rear bumper comes Darrell Waltrip in the number 17 car. Those 3 machines in the lead lap as we get set for a go. 1 lap down in the 4th position, the 00 of Brett Bodine, and in 5th is car number 6 as they get ready to unfurl the green once again. Tommy Houston rounding out the top 5. Field down. Darrell Waltrip just blew a blue.
Trouble with Waltrip.
Yeah, he is sliding back the field, going left and right, trying to get around him. Waltrip, winner of 3 races in this series this year, eases down into turn number 1, and already he's in the back of the field.
There's no smoke emitting from the automobile, so it could be something like a transmission of that nature. We'll keep our eyes on him. He's right down on the apron, coming around the base of turn 2 as the leaders are in 3.
Brett Bodine's trying to unlap himself. Here comes Earnhardt after Tim Richmond out of 4.
As they come back for lap 138 of 200. Again, Richmond pulls away. Sandwiched in between them, trying to get a lap back, is Bodine. Bodine is a lap down. The second place automobile, the number 8 car, is trying to put a lap on Brett Bodine. The Country Ham car goes to the outside, and on the inside, making his move, Earnhardt down low.
Earnhardt gets a nose out front of Brett Bodine. He's after. No, here comes Bodine. Now Earnhardt will slide by. Dale goes on the wheel in after Tim Richmond's automobile as they come out of 3 into 4. Earnhardt's about 5 car lengths behind Richmond.
Waltrip is on pit road. Darrell Waltrip slowing, coming down to the pit road. It's now 12 car lengths between Richmond in first, Earnhardt in second.
Robert G. prepared automobile with Tim Richmond at the wheel, taking the high line once more, but on the move, Dale Earnhardt filling the rearview mirror of Tim Richmond as he's accelerating down the back chute, trying to close up ground.
Let's go to the pits, and here's a report from Pat Patterson.
Eddie Jones is up under the number 17 Budweiser Colonial Bread car of Darrell Waltrip. Car is running. They had a jack stand under it. Eddie's talking to Darrell right now as the car's still up on jacks, and it looks like it's going to be the hard left turn for Darrell Waltrip, although the car is running at this time. But it looks like they're going to push it down.
They're still pushing, still trying to get Waltrip's car fired. They're rushing. I think they're going to try to get back in the race. They are still going to try to get back because they are moving at a pretty good clip, and they did not go back to the garage area, but just made a U-turn, pulled onto the pit road, and then turned right in back behind the pit wall. So it would appear they intend to try to get him back into this event, but he's losing laps. 140 down, 60 to go, and the point here is they can drive home now after this fuel stop under caution.
Looks like all the way now. Dale really needs to get a hold of Tim up there, get into that draft if he's going to be able to hold on. He doesn't want to let Tim get away from him like he did a while ago.
The field goes into turns 1 and 2, and now extending the lead to 14 car lengths. Richmond pulls it out over Earnhardt. Let's go back to Pat Patterson.
Darrell, you're running so well. What happened on the car?
Butch Stevens over to BS&R rebuilt our gearbox this week, and I think we got to hold some bad parts. Looked like the gear shift lever broke, and we don't have any high gear.
You ran so well, and you won the last 2 outings in this particular car, in this division of racing. I know it's a disappointment for you this afternoon.
Yeah, it really is. The car was doing very well.
Okay, very disappointed Darrell Waltrip out here, Ken.
Direwall Racing could be the beginning of another Winston Cup team. That is Waltrip's own, and there's no question that somewhere down the road he'll have his own team. Wayne Patterson, the Executive Vice President of Sales for Oakwood Homes, who sponsored the 500-mile race here in October of 1986. Glad to have you alongside for a moment, sir.
Oh, thank you, Ken. We're just glad to be a part of it. Looks like a great race going on out there now.
Any predictions on tomorrow? I think the Coca-Cola 600 stacks up the way that field is, as competitive as any in history.
No, I think what I do know about this sport is that you can't predict a winner. Anything can happen. And, of course, our sentimental favorite, Richard Petty, we've been an associate sponsor of Richard for 2 years, and, of course, he's out, and we just wish him the best and glad he's back.
Sure is back. He's down there in the garage area. We hope to get a word from him. He was up topside watching for a while. He's plenty active. He's down there now. He says he's very, very sore, which is to be expected after the terrible thrashing he took yesterday. The month of May has never been good for Richard Petty. He's missed races due to injury back in the early days, back in 69 and 70, as a result of wrecks. In 69, he cracked some ribs up at Asheville, Weaverville. And in 70, had a shoulder blade broken in that awful side-over-side crash up at Darling when the car came apart. Let's hope that nothing like that happens tomorrow to him in DK's car.
Oh, yeah. We're just going to stick with him and wish him the very best of luck.
I might point out to race fans all over America, came out on the first in the Charlotte radio stations and then went on into the wire services, and by last night they had tied up the phones here for hours, checking on the condition of the man that Pat Patterson is standing with right now.
Richard, you made front page news yesterday and today, but it definitely wasn't the kind of news you wanted to make. How are you feeling?
Well, I don't like to make that kind of news, you know what I mean? But we're doing all right now. We had to spend a night in the hospital because I had a mild concussion. They won't keep me in there and, a little observation, but it didn't break anything or anything like that. I'm just sore, and I'll be okay.
This holds your record up for the consecutive starts, and I know that was very important to you, wasn't it?
Well, that really wasn't as important as trying to make this particular race and do the best we can. We want to try to keep our points up and everything else. So a lot of things go into play when we, when we start a race. And DK worked out a deal with DK Eldrick, and we put our engine in the car, and I'm going to run a little bit this evening and sort of see how I do. And, if I'm hurting too bad, I'll probably just start the race and let DK finish it.
Okay, the king of stock car racing, and we'll be back in racing tomorrow is Coca-Cola 600.
And that consecutive run will continue tomorrow. It'll be race number 437 as he inches toward Michigan and his 1,000th start in Winston Cup. That does not count the convertibles. That does not count anything else. We just saw car number 02 sideways out of turn number 4 coming down by us. Bill Cannell, he looked like he had a handful.
That was Kenny Burke, and he did. He got it off on the grass, did a masterful piece to get it back under control, regathered it up, and came down to the tri-oval.
As matters stand, 147 of 200 laps are complete in a record-breaking Winn-Dixie 300 for Busch Grand National, formerly called Sportsman cars of NASCAR. We're going to take a 2-minute break for our stations and then back with more. This is the Performance Racing Network.
147 laps completed here at the Winn-Dixie 353 remaining in the record books before we wrap things up. And these drivers get their lion's share of over $219,000 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. In about 2 laps, we'll be having another Froze Fruit lap leader winner. $2,000 goes to the leader of that particular lap on lap 150. Don't forget to get your sunglasses, fans. You'll get a free stringer with each pair of sunglasses you purchase. They're $5.95 at the Sunglass booth. Free stringer, sunglasses, $5.95 and up here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And if you feel a bit hungry, be sure to make a pit stop at one of the many concession stands located around the Speedway. Try Andre's world-famous quarter-pound hot dogs, the delicious Future Burger, 8 ounces of ground round on a bun, cold soft drinks, Danny's lemonade, or one of many more delicious treats awaiting you here at the Winn-Dixie 300. We take pride in the quality of food we serve here at CMS, and we bet you'll come back for more after trying one of the many tasty items available right now at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Few pit stops coming in right now. The number 21 car of Larry Pearson on pit row, along with Jack Ingram and the number 11 Skull Bandit.
I want to remind everybody that you can win a $68,000 sports car. Compliments of the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the 600 Children's Charity. Stop by one of our booths and see the Zimmer. There's one in the infield area near the cafeteria or at gate number 4. Drawing for this fabulous $68,000 car will be on June 30th. Donations are $10 and tax deductible. Help the children here in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, and Cabarrus counties and win this $68,000 Zimmer automobile. Tim Richmond posted as the leader at lap 150 and an additional $2,000 now going to Tim Richmond. A total of 8 he has won, which so far ties Dale Earnhardt for the Froze Fruit Lap Leader Award money. Total of $20,000 that goes to the leaders at laps 150 now, then 170 and 190 before the completion of the race at lap 200. Tim Richmond is your leader. Dale Earnhardt is posted in 2nd position, and the number 95 car is in 3rd position. That is of Davey Allison. He's ahead now of Jeff Bodine. Jeff dropped back to 4th position, and then 5th position will be Tommy Houston. Now, back to the Performance Racing Network.
Running in the lead lap at a record clip here today as Tim Richmond goes for his 2nd in a row in the Winn-Dixie 300. In the 2nd position, it remains Dale Earnhardt, and there's a substantial difference between those 2 cars on this mile-and-a-half track. Brett Bodine, the 00, stays 3rd on the field, while the 4th spot continues to run with number 95 there. That's Davey Allison for the moment. In 5th spot, Jack Ingram was in 5th. Now, Jack was just in for a pit stop, but on 140 lap, 210-mile rundown, he was 5th. The 6th position belonged to Tommy Houston, having a very good run, and 7th was Pearson. Then 2 laps down, in the 8th position was Sterling Marlin, while in the 9th position was Kyle Petty. 3 laps down, the 10th position was belonging to Randy LaJoy, with the 11th spot collected by car number 75, Brad T. 12th on the field was the number 45, and that was one of the Charlie Luck car. The 13th position belonged to car number 90, Haskell Willingham, and the 14th position was that of Kenny Bouchard. 15th on the field was Mike Alexander. He had some trouble here that brought out a caution as he slid out of turn number 4 and was able to gather it up. The 16th position, Elton Sawyer, and in 17th was Kenny Burks. 4 laps down in 18th position, the number 4 belonging to Joe Thurman, and in 19th position we find the 63 car of Jimmy Hensley. The 20th position belonging to Larry Pollard. In the 21st marker was the number 98, or rather the number 89, Mike Swain. We couldn't have two 98s. That would be 89, Mike Swain in 21st. And 22nd belonged to car number 19. That's Mike Bonicelli from out in Colorado. The 23rd car in the field was then being given to the car number 96, which was Dickie Boswell. 24th was the 14 of Ronnie Silver. 25th belonged to car number 81, Bosco Lowe, and the 26th position to car number 20, Brett Hearn. That's as detailed a rundown as we've had from scoring to pass along to you. 155 laps complete. Again, Bobby Allison has retired from the event. Richmond just picked up another $2,000 for leading lap 150. That brings him up to $8,000 from froze fruit today. You have to buy a lot of froze fruit just to take care of Tim Richmond's bill here this afternoon. 157 complete. Race is stable, and they are running at a record clip, but even with the caution we had, that Richmond car has everybody covered, Bill Cadell. They can't get close to him.
Well, you know, Dale Earnhardt running at B6, and Dale just seems to be dropping further behind, but all of a sudden,
Larry Pearson spins it over in turns 1 and 2. He comes down the banking now, sliding along the grass at the apron of turn number 2. The car cocks back around again. He's facing traffic, but he's down on the grass, out of harm's way as the field moves by. 21 Chattanooga 2 car of Larry Pearson spinning in turns 1 and 2.
Caution is out.
Now he's pulling it back up onto the track, and he's moving down the inside or down the back straightaway.
That is the 4th caution of the day, 4th caution of the afternoon. It'll bunch up the field, but the way things are going, unless something goes awry on Richmond's car, he has scored an early knockout in this show.
Quite possible. At least this gives Dale one more chance to adjust on the car, get some more tires on, and see if he can stick with Tim off the start. If he doesn't get with him on the brake, he's not going to stay with him, I don't believe. But if he gets with him right off the brake, he's got a shot.
And from NASCAR in the scoring stand, this is the way it stands here at this point as we go into caution period with Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt on pit road, both getting new tire, Tim on the left side and Dale on the right side. Tim Richmond, Dale Earnhardt posted as your leaders. And 1 lap down, you've got Brett Bodine, Davey Allison, Tommy Houston, and the 66 car, that's Rusty Wallace. 2 laps down, Sterling Marlin, Larry Pearson, of course that was before that spin out, Jack Ingram, and Kyle Petty. And 3 laps down would be Randy LaJoy, Brad Teague, Mike Alexander, and Tim Richmond is back first on the speedway once again. Tim Richmond, Dale Earnhardt, your leaders in that lead lap, positions 1 and 2.
For the 6th time in the last 7 years, Winston has increased the NASCAR Winston Cup point fund. In 1986, it'll be a whopping $2 million, making it the largest motorsports point fund in the world. The driver who wins the 1986 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship can earn $500,000, $500,000. That's double the amount Darrell Waltrip won in 1985. Winston Cup Racing's the best and just keeps on getting better at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A rash of pit stops right now as the number 21 car comes down, Larry Pearson's car. A lot of the cars that are a lap down behind front runners Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt here at the Winn-Dixie 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
We are 158 laps into the Winn-Dixie 300. That's 42 remaining of the 200 for 300 miles. And the race is moving quickly. We move back to the Performance Racing Network. This is Bill Dollar.
At the Charlotte Motor Speedway, 159 laps have been completed. As they come around to complete 160, pace car is coming in. On the latest rundown, we had there was one car that seems to me to be missing. That's number 66, Wallace. The Aluguard car has been out there, and he is running at least in the top 7. We're getting confirmation on his position right now, but on the rundown we received from scoring, there was no 66. Indeed, car number 66 is being shown in 6th position, Rusty Wallace, who's had a very, very good run all afternoon. Wallace is right now going down into turn number 3, following those leaders. Richmond on the point.
Richmond's your leader, then Davey Allison between he and Dale Earnhardt. Now Earnhardt is on the move on the inside as they hit off 4.
As they come by, making a move to the bottom of the racetrack, Davey Allison has a move put on him by Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt collecting enough space on the bottom of the racetrack to take Allison a lap down to him, and now he set sail to go after Richmond another time. But Richmond looks to have everybody covered here.
Down the back straightaway, Richmond just pulling away a bit more. Now Earnhardt begins to close, trying to run him down. Here comes Brett Bodine. Rusty Wallace by the Davey Allison automobile. Like Brett Bodine and Rusty are going to battle for positions. Meanwhile, Earnhardt's closing on Richmond.
38 laps to go this time by, and if Earnhardt has anything left, now is the time to use it. The 00, the Bodine car, is running in 5th position in the field. He's trying to get some time back. He is moving in the leaders, but he's got a lot of running to do. That 00, Brett Bodine, is 1 lap down. 2, Richmond in front, Earnhardt in 2nd, back straightaway.
Down the back stretch, it's still Richmond, Earnhardt, then Bodine, who has a lap down and got to make up. He's back in the, well, actually, they're showing Brett Bodine in 3rd, 1 lap off the pace. Rusty Wallace should be 4th, maybe 1 lap down. Then Davey Allison as they exit 4.
As they come around, it is Earnhardt closing up a little. Following this race, we'll be giving you the starting lineup for tomorrow's Coca-Cola 600, detailing the starting grid for that great $700,000 27th annual show tomorrow here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Out of turn number 2, and for the moment, Richmond is drawing away another time. Incredible power in the Tim Richmond car.
Tim Richmond just pulls right away from Dale Earnhardt. Richmond now has about a 15, 16 car length advantage, and Dale losing the draft. Lake, undoubtedly, there's a power shortage there.
Absolutely. That V8 has just shown its dominance after every restart from the very first of the race right on. It's just, when he's on cold tires, good setup, that V6 can't handle it.
Blake, they're using 2 power wrenches on those cars down on pit road today, and I would think that would really favor these Grand National, the Winston Cup teams that are in this race.
I would think so too, because I think most of the Grand National Division teams are used to having to work with 1 wrench, so they're not accustomed to it a little bit. So they probably, the Winston Cup teams have had a little advantage on the pit stops.
Think you would equalize it if they went back to 1?
Then it'd be tough. I don't know. It's, whatever you get ready for.
Because this race right now, outside of the fact we've got a great record run going for Richmond, and Earnhardt stays right there in that lead lap trying to deal with him, a lot of this race has gone away. This isn't nearly the race we've seen the last 2 years.
True, this, when you get it down to 2 cars, it's tough, but at least we got 2 good cars out there capable of winning either one of them at any time. Tim keeps running his car as hard as he is. He can develop a tire problem, and Dale could be right on him and just nothing flat.
The number 95 car has stuck up in here. That's the 95 car of Davey Allison. There's enough Allisons racing right now. There's 7 of them in all, including some cousins back up there in Alabama, that they could have their own qualifying heat on almost any quarter-mile track.
Well, it was really something to see father and son out there working on a couple of them out there. You can see them teaming up on them once in a while ago.
Bobby was saying the other day, he said, if you want 8, we could probably get Pop to come out of retirement. He would take another crack at it. Backside of the racetrack, Richmond is just unbelievable. The power that Rick Hendrick car has, incredible. As we watch him motoring down into turns 3 and 4, the thing just now is drawing away. Bill Cannell, he's picked up about 10 car lengths in the past 2 laps.
He certainly has, Ken, and unless something mighty mysterious happens, Richmond is just running away from Dale Earnhardt.
He won here a year ago. Oh, we've got an engine blowing going into turn 1.
It's Tommy Houston. I was just fixing to say what a good run he was doing. He was moving up through the field. It just passed Davey, and his day's over now.
He's holding onto the car very nicely, though, through the lower portion of turn 2. The whole traffic moving by cleanly without incident, so it'll be Tommy Houston coasting back around the pit road.
168 laps complete. No caution on the track. No caution out as yet, and I don't think we're going to see it on this one. We'll stay at 4 cautions in the race thus far. As we see a little bit of a scarred car number 15, there's some marks on the right side of the machine where he and Earnhardt were rubbing earlier. Now no one can get close enough to put a wheel on him. Car number 15 up in turn number 2, and Tim Richmond draws away by another 3 car. Every time he comes off a corner, he picks up 2 car lengths.
That thing is really, really strong on the straightaway. It's, you know, you can't deal with it when the guy can walk through the corner and walk away from you on the straightaway. It's going to be a tough day.
16 lead changes among 4 drivers, averaging 140.7 miles per hour. Tim Richmond is making a tremendous run here in the Winn-Dixie 300.
Chevrolet paces the way for all events here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we want to make a special recognition to the following Charlotte area dealers who make all this possible. McKinney Chevrolet in Belmont, North Carolina, City Chevrolet, Larry J. Chevrolet, and LaPointe Chevrolet of Charlotte, Ben Manach Chevrolet in Concord, North Carolina, and Sonny Hancock Chevrolet in Gastonia. Our thanks to all these fine dealers for their assistance in providing the Monte Carlo SS and IROC Z Pace cars seen this weekend at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Bill Dollar?
Thank you, Alan. Tim Richmond, a little squirrely coming off turn 4, very close to the wall where he likes to take his groove on the high side there out of turn 4, but did, across lap number 170, pick up yet another $2,000 in the Froze Fruit lap leader money. So to Tim Richmond, that's a total of $10,000 in lap leader money today, just for being at the right place at the right time. Tim Richmond, your leader. Dale Earnhardt well back about 3 seconds unofficially at this point. Tim Richmond now with 171, and then number 15, Levi Garrett, Rick Hendrick car. There's Dale Earnhardt. 3rd place, a lap back, you have Brett Bodine, and then the 66 car in 4th place, Rusty Wallace, with a good showing for Rusty today, and the 95 cars in 5th place of Davey Allison. Donnie Allison, his uncle, well back in the pack. Bobby Allison, who through attrition in his car, just expired earlier in the race, is out of the race today, retired, watching it from the sidelines down at Pip Road. Back to the Performance Racing Network now.
In the Winn-Dixie 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tomorrow, the $730,000 Coca-Cola 600 will be unleashed in all the furor of 42 Winston Cup cars. We hope you'll be with us for that. We're seeing Tim Richmond, an outstanding performance by him. The 83 winner of this event. That is the Dale Earnhardt combination. They're running in 2nd place, but they can't come close to the power that's being exerted by car number 15 as it grinds off these corners and stays wherever Richmond wants to place it. Some 91,000 record crowd, biggest infield I've ever witnessed at Charlotte, enjoying today's festivities. 3rd spot belongs to Brett Bodine. Now in 4th is Rusty Wallace, and in 5th is the Davey Allison car. That's the current standing. I believe that we would then show in 6th Pearson, followed by the 7th place belonging to Jack Ingram. That's a little speculation. We'll wait for another rundown. And if that were true, then the 8th position overall in the race is Sterling Marlin, the man that was up in front early in the going and gets had a bad start, did not qualify well, but he really ran up through the field.
And you'd have to wrap Sterling Marlin. He has retired, the car number 69, just a lap or so ago.
All right, then with Sterling Marlin down, I think Kyle Petty will pick up a spot. Give Kyle Petty at least 8th and perhaps 7th. We'll wait for a rundown. Here it is now, 170-lap rundown coming in as the field works the 174th lap. They're averaging 140.024 miles per hour, and this is the latest up-to-date report. We have Richmond in front, Earnhardt in 2nd, a lap down in 3rd, Bodine, 4th spot, Davey Allison, and the 5th spot, Rusty Wallace. In 6th, Larry Pearson, and in 7th, Jack Ingram. That puts in 8th the car number 47, which is Kyle Petty. 3 laps down. In the 9th position will be Mike Alexander, with the 10th spot overall going to Randy LaJoy. 11th is number 95, Davey Allison, and going 12th is car number 45, Charlie Luck. The 13th position belongs to Haskell Willingham. Going 14th is Kenny Bouchard. 15th, car number 42, Alton Sawyer, Chesapeake, Virginia, at Bill Lewis Chevrolet, still very much in the race and trying.
These guys are just still out there digging. The track's gotten hot and slick. The boys are really doing a good job out here to keep these cars on the track. You know, you really hadn't seen the accidents that you used to see in this division when the guys came off the half miles and weren't used to the super speedways. But the guys have really come a long way in the last few years. They're handling themselves quite well out here.
Well, Tim Richmond is having a great day of it, and this may be just what the doctor ordered for Tim Richmond. Remember, he's only had one Winston Cup true super speedway race. as a victory on a high-banked oval. Now, he's won a couple they call super speedways, but those were those Riverside races on the road course back at Pocono in 1983. He scored a victory there, and that was the one. And this experience today in the Hendrick car, this bids well for his efforts tomorrow. He's back into turn number 1 to Hill Overton,
where he just continues to run strongly as he has all day. And I have to think that this will be a tonic for Tim if he can hang on for the win to battle back from the disappointment of losing the pole out here for the Coke 600 on Wednesday afternoon when his teammate wiped it away late in the going. So Tim Richmond hoping to make it 2 in a row in this event as he won here in this same car prepared by Robert G. of Harrisburg, North Carolina. Of course, owned by Hendrick Motorsports, but it's a super strong automobile, and it looks good here this afternoon.
Well, speaking of Hendrick Motorsports, let's go down to Pat Patterson with the man himself.
Rick Hendrick is standing here alongside Gary Nelson. And Rick, you had your wristwatch off a second ago taking a look at it. You're not really worried about this, are you?
I'm ready until I see. I'm worried until I see that checkered flag.
Rick, you've had so many good fortunes this weekend with taking up the outside row of tomorrow's race and the way Tim's performing here. Any particular worries that you have going into tomorrow?
No, we just need a lot of luck, and hopefully we get the right combination. We feel real good about it, but it's a long race and anything can happen. I think the guy to win it will be the guy that hits the best combination and handles all day.
Okay, Charlotte, North Carolina's Rick Hendrick, who patiently waits as Tim Richmond leads this event.
Well, you can put quote marks in the record book under 85. You won't have to use anything. It'll be the same story. If Tim Richmond can hold on to win it after starting on the pole in a Pontiac, that tells the whole story. That's exactly as it was 1 year ago. He continues to dominate out here this afternoon, stretching that car around the track and hoping to set it up for the Winston Cup tomorrow, and he'll start outside of the front row. When he'll be carrying his own colors, and Jeff Bodine will be in the colors that he is showing this afternoon, the livery of the Levi Garrett Racing Team, and they continue to extend that lead. It's now over 4 seconds between first and second place as Dale Earnhardt has been pummeled. He's just hanging on out here in his effort to get this race over. It's a bad day for Earnhardt. You know how much he loves to race up in front, and he's just being outpowered at this time. Richmond's lead is shown as 4 9/10 of a second. As he has pulled out this dramatic lead. There are now 20 laps remaining in the event. I don't think you can say too much about Brett Bodine's effort today. That 00 car has had an excellent run with the young man that also gets a start tomorrow in the Coca-Cola 600. Jeff Bodine was in the press box yesterday to talk about running for the $1 million, he and Bobby Allison. And he couldn't concentrate on the questions being asked because his brother was out here trying to qualify, and he made the field on the last day of qualifying with a very good run. Incidentally, Buddy Baker had to wait until the last day of qualifying to get into the field. It has been that tough this year. A lot of good runners didn't make it. Willie T. Ribbs, who a lot of people said this would be the one he made, did not make it. And Baker, on the last day, came up with a quick lap to get into it, but I tell you, he was nervous. He had to come out after Rick Wilson crashed the first day and was in Rick Wilson's oil. The next day, he was in his own oil. It blew an engine. So a rather nervous Baker was able, the Crisco kid, to get it all together, and he will be starting, going for his 4th 600 tomorrow. 182 laps are now complete here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll pause 70 seconds for station identification and these messages from the Performance Racing Network.
Tim Richmond continues to lead the activity here this afternoon at the Winn Dixie 300, followed by Dale Earnhardt. Back in one lap is the number 00 car of Brett Bodine, followed by Davey Allison and Rusty Wallace. He's on tune to pick up maybe another $2,000 too at lap 190 from the Frozen Fruit people. $20,000 altogether coming from Froze Fruit here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for lap leaders.
Tomorrow for the Coca-Cola 600, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in uptown Charlotte, say around the Coliseum is where you live, or in Freedom Mall, behind Sears, Tryon Mall, near Hardee's, or around the Marriott if you're staying there, downtown at Trade Street, or staying at the Adams Market Quality Inn, 3rd McDowell. You will have for $5 for round trip from 8:30 tomorrow morning until 11 o'clock, park and ride service with the Charlotte Transit System, where you don't have to drive yourself and mess with the traffic. Just pay $5 and ride to the Speedway without the hassle. Again, Tim Richmond is our leader. 6 laps remaining before that $2,000 award from Froze Fruit. 16 laps remain in the race today of 200 laps, 300 miles. WSOC-FM carries your races. This is Bill Dollar. And we'll be back to the Performance Racing Network here shortly. Once again, your leaders, Tim Richmond, Dale Earnhardt, Brett Bodine, Davey Allison, and Rusty Wallace. Showing a lead change there, that Rusty Wallace moves up to 4th position. Davey Allison drops back to 5th.
Of course, if Tim Richmond wins today's race, it would be the second race that he's won here in a row, the only back-to-back winner he could be of this Winn-Dixie 300. Dale Earnhardt is no stranger to that victory circle, though he won in 1983.
Not only would Tim Richmond be the first back-to-back winner of the Winn-Dixie 300, Tim Richmond would be the first, in order to attain that title, he would be the first to go from the pole and win the race twice. So setting a couple of records here this weekend for Levi Garrett and for the Rick Hendrick Robert Gene race team. We say to Tim Richmond, big congratulations, somewhat maybe prematurely, but at this point he continues to put on the distance between himself and Dale Earnhardt. I've been clocking him in at least as a 4-second difference between Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt. Tim is across the stripe with 187 laps complete, and here comes your second place driver, Dale Earnhardt, the number 8 car. There's your third place cars of Brett Bodine and Davey Allison. And the number 66 car, 5th place of Rusty Wallace.
Of course, another $2,000 could go to Tim Richmond. He's just about 3 laps away from picking up another $2,000. He's already won $10,000 from the folks from Froze Food. He's followed by Dale Earnhardt, who has won $8,000. So his afternoon could mean in excess of $30,000 to $35,000 here at the Winn-Dixie 300. Quite a payday for the Busch Grand National drivers. This, of course, being one of the most prestigious and one of the top races on the entire circuit this year, the Busch Grand National Circuit on the NASCAR.
You know, there's quite a bit of controversy about the number of Winston Cup drivers, 7 of them: Morgan Shepherd, Dale Earnhardt, Tim Richmond, Darrell Waltrip, Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, and Bobby Allison, who are racing here. And this still gives the drivers on the Busch Grand National Circuit a chance to compete with the Winston Cup drivers. And there's quite a bit of money on the line as we go back to the Performance Racing Network.
Fighting back there in 4th position as Tim Richmond, and we're within 11 laps of the finish now, continues to stay well out in front of everyone. Earnhardt, the 83 winner, holding on as we come to the 11th of 31 races in this Busch Grand National Series this year. And what we're seeing this afternoon...
Earnhardt in the wall. Dale Earnhardt grazes the wall up in turn number 2. Now he's going slowly along the outside retaining wall. He just got too high that time. No one else in contact with Dale, but he's moving down the back straightaway. Maybe he'll make it in.
So that will take him out of the 2nd position as we get down to the 10-lap mark. He is still moving, going down toward turn number 3. 10-lap mark is on the field, and there is no caution on the track. Now caution is coming out. Caution is coming out as Earnhardt tries to get down across the racetrack in turn 3. Some smoke begins to come out of the car. Let's go back to Hill Overton. How hard did he hit in turn 2?
It looks like it was more of a glancing blow, but right now I see a lot of smoke from the car indicating probably sheet metal along the side.
Bill Cannell, how about it?
He's got a lot of damage, a lot of sheet metal damage on the side. All 4 tires are pumped up. He may be able to get back in, kid.
If he does, he's going to be, as of now, a lap down. He'll go another lap down. Quickly here, they're changing right side rubber and trying to straighten out the side of the silver and black car number 8, being driven by Dale Earnhardt, the Good Wrench car. Sam McAllister's folks, that's a heartbreaker for them. They are big racing fans, and they really wanted to see the car do well today. Unfortunate incident late in the going. Now 9 laps to go. We are under caution, and we should just get a sprint to the finish. I don't think he left too much stuff on the track.
No, that's for sure. Now, the guys, Tim's just got to keep his act together and hope that thing will stay together. I'm sure he won't push it too hard. With a cushion and being able to run probably 85%, he ought to be able to sail on home free.
Now, with all the groceries we've collected today from Campbell's Soup and Froze Fruit, there was another $2,000 at lap 190. It'll be a total of some $12,000 that go in the grocery cart of car number 15 today, Tim Richmond. And you can bag up $8,000 for car number 8, Dale Earnhardt. And there's $5,000. That was the midway mark, the Campbell Soup Award, that went this afternoon to car number 17, Darrell Waltrip. Now, the Goodies Headache Award for the day, how would you want to give that one? I think Earnhardt would go right to the top of the list, trying so hard all afternoon to deal with a man that is uncontainable the way he's running, that Richmond car. But Earnhardt, the man who won it in '83, has stayed up there, stayed in the lead lap, and then grazed the wall coming out of 2, and it's put him down. He is back on the track at this moment, moving around and trying to get himself back in here for the finish.
Yeah, that car is damaged pretty good. As it came down, then you could tell that the car was towed in. It looked like 6 inches, so they're going to have to do a little bit of work on that car before it can get back on the track. The interesting thing out there right now, though, is that 2nd through 5th is all on the same lap. And these guys could get after it here and really put us on a good race now that they've all had a chance to get grouped up.
So we ought to have a tremendous, on the restart, have a pretty good battle there in that 2nd through 4th fight between Bodine in the 00, the 95 of Davey Allison, Rusty Wallace in the 66, and the old Iron Man, Jack Ingram, the many-time Sportsman champion. They're all in the same lap. Number 15 is in a class unto himself today, not in the same lap, not in the same category. Looks like he's in Winston Cup or something out here, the way that Richmond car is flaunting its colors around this track. 193 laps have now been complete, trying to clear the track away and get set for a start as the field goes down into turns 1 and 2.
They're bunched up again. The yellow or the amber light is out on the Chevrolet pace car here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we do see your leader right up there within about 20 yards of the pace car as they pull it off of 2, working right on his back bumper, but 1 lap down is the Brett Bodine machine. Then the only remaining hopes for the Allison clan, the youngest member of the Alabama gang, Davey Allison, in there just in front of Rusty Wallace, and behind him is Jack Ingram, although the Pearson car actually on the track between those two.
Car number 8, they continue to work on pit road, back in again. That is Earnhardt. He's coming off the jacks. I think they're going to try to get him down. Average speed, 141 miles per hour. Records in the making today here in the Winn-Dixie 300. Moving to Bill Canal at turn 4.
Well, Tim Richmond is on the point. All he's got to do is move over and let these guys like Bodine, Allison, Wallace, and Ingram settle down for second spot. Here they come.
The battle will be for second place as Tim Richmond has the field covered. Coming to the line, Bodine, Allison, Rusty Wallace, and Jack Ingram square off in a battle for second position in the Winn-Dixie 300.
But being the driver he is, so far Tim Richmond has not moved over. He's staying up in the high groove, maintaining his separation over Bodine, who's second in the race. Here comes Davey Allison mounting a charge down the back chute, and then Rusty Wallace.
Well, it's Brett Bodine and Davey Allison, the two we're interested in for second. Tim Richmond, of course, in a lap to himself, but he's just riding, but he's staying on the point. Wallace has got Ingram to contend with, but seems like Ingram's lost some power and drops back in the field.
And Wallace has fallen off by about 8 car lengths from the Davey Allison car. Davey Allison has a real shot at Brett Bodine as they go into turn 1.
Where the battle is for that second position, the red and white number 95 of Allison draws right back up on the rear deck lid of the car being driven by Brett Bodine, but Bodine showing power down the back chute, now muscles his way out to a 3-car length separation as they dive into turn 3.
Second to 2. That's Davey Allison now back to 2 car lengths. He'd like to shut it down to 1, get right up on that deck lid. They're battling for second position. Here comes Davey up on Bodine.
And Ingram fading back. 3 cars that were a lap down to him squeezed by him now. Wallace is setting his sights on Davey Allison. 196 laps have been completed. 4 to go. They're in turn 1.
Where the leader remains Tim Richmond with a safe 1-lap margin. Brett Bodine riding second, then Davey Allison 3-car lengths back in third. Working off the banking Rusty Wallace about 8-car lengths behind the third place position, and then it's much farther back to Ingram.
Dale Earnhardt has come back on the track. He's down on the apron in turn number 1. Richmond's in turn 3.
Richmond comes up high, just lets it ride as Brett Bodine and Davey Allison seem to settle down a bit in the winding lap.
Here they come to complete 197. Bodine in the 00 car, white red numeral machine, slithers down and gets himself about another 1.5 car length advantage over Davey Allison in third, and closing up on Allison comes Rusty Wallace.
Wallace now has pulled it down to about 4, maybe 5-car length separation down the back stretch as the second, third, and fourth cars are equidistant.
Rusty Wallace now trying to reel in the likes of Davey Allison. Davey trying to stay with Brett Bodine, but Brett tries to break away from the draft as Richmond leads him off the point in 4.
As they come back to the stripe with a couple to go. It's the Tim Richmond show here this afternoon at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. In the Winn-Dixie 300, he's collected the most money in the additional prizes to be given. Pat Patterson is moving to victory lane to interview what looks like a winner for the second straight year out of the Rick Hendrick Racing Stable. Brett Bodine making a great run for second place. Davey Allison in third. And how about those regular Grand National drivers? What a wonderful job they're doing. Rusty Wallace holding fourth and can't deal with Allison. Young Davey Allison having a great ride, maintaining third position as they come out. White flag about to be extended. Final lap this afternoon. Earnhardt slowing dramatically in turn 4. A lot of smoke coming off the right front wheel. As he comes across the start-finish line, the rest of the field is up in trouble.
Going into one.
Car number 4.
Car number 4. He's coming into the inside retaining wall just beyond the Unical 76 ball as he slaps the wall there.
Joe Thurman of Rocky Mount, Virginia has crashed. Yellow and white coming out. Final lap underway.
Meanwhile, here comes Davey Allison. He's up on the rear deck. Look at Brett Bodine's automobile. Richmond will win it out of 4, but what's the battle for second?
As they come down to the stripe, holding on to that position, Bodine. Allison trying to close up. Checkered flag is out. Richmond waving to the crowd. Takes the side curtain down and says hello. And the car that crashed, Joe Thurman, is now crawling around the back of the machine all humpbacked after it socked the wall here in the main straightaway and then bounced into the inside. Joe Thurman's car is running once again as we finish the race under caution. Earnhardt, he's coming back in, will not come down to take checkers. Dale Earnhardt's car finishing another lap down. A sad day for the Goodwrench Racing folks. It's Tim Richmond back-to-back for Rick Hendrick. Won it here a year ago, comes out here and does it again this afternoon. And never more dramatically. He just outpowered everyone here. Second spot goes to Brett Bodine, the 00 car, with a fine finish. And third spot, how about this? Davey Allison is there. Rusty Wallace comes home in fourth, and Larry Pearson, unofficially, is being credited with fifth position. We'll meet the winner, Tim Richmond, of the Winn-Dixie 300 in a moment.
Well, once again, congratulations to Tim Richmond in the number 15 car, the Levi Garrett Pontiac, as he heads towards victory lane here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A reminder, as you leave the activity this afternoon, be sure to visit any of the Oakwood homes on display at the main entrance to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, at the tunnel entrance and at gate number 12. Ask the sponsors of the Oakwood Homes 500 how you can win a new home in a Pontiac Trans Am here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Once again, he's going to Victory Circle, Tim Richmond, to get all the laurels of his victory in this afternoon's Winn-Dixie 300. The second Winn-Dixie 300 victory for Tim Richmond, the second in a row, starting from the pole. Both times he's at the cream of the crop, and he's followed close behind by a newcomer, a fellow who has been out doing a very good job on the Busch Grand National Circuit, Brett Bodine. Brett Bodine in the number 2 position, followed by Davey Allison, Rusty Wallace, and Larry Pearson in the Chattanooga Chew number 21 car, finishing 2 laps off the pace. Once again, Tim Richmond
just appeared out of the Levi Garrett Pontiac and is getting some pictures right now. Tim,
I want your money. Where's that check?
He's looking over at the Winn-Dixie. Tim, congratulations. A great win this afternoon.
Thank you very much. You know, Dale and Dale gave me a fit out there, and then when that one pit stop kind of put us apart, and I don't know, Dale had a problem there, Tim, but when you got equipment and people like Rick Hendrick has, it's hard to not be a winner with him.
Well, the power that you had, it looked like you could not only pull out of the turns, but also on the straightaways, and just nobody could catch you all day.
Well, we were a little better on the straightaways today than we were in the corners. We didn't quite have the corner speeds the way we wanted, but, you know, it was good enough to do it, and I'm just pleased to be here for the Levi Garrett people and Folgers. You know, I'm sure you can buy Levi Garrett at Winn-Dixie, and you can buy Folgers at Winn-Dixie, and I might...
So you're going to go shopping after service today, right?
Yeah, I'm going shopping now with the beef people.
All right, Tim Richmond, your winner here this afternoon in the Winn-Dixie 300.
I have my little friend here, Chelsea, to bring me luck from up in Vermont. She's about a year old right now. Today, 1 year old today, and I want to say thank you to Chelsea.
All right, Tim Richmond, very happy in victory lane here at Charlotte.
Tim Richmond and the entire crew down there will try to get back with Pat, and Charlie Harville is going to talk to some of the other folks about how their day went in this Winn-Dixie 300, and we'll take a complete look at the finishing order of this event, give you the starting order for the 600 tomorrow as well. This is the Performance Racing Network. We're going to pause for 2 minutes and then be back with more of what has transpired today and what we anticipate tomorrow. Now, this is the Performance Racing Network.
And a congratulations once again to Tim Richmond, a record speed today, an average speed of 139.715, beating Darrell Waltrip's record from 1979 by 8.4 miles per hour. And of course, congratulations to Dale Earnhardt. $250 goes to him for the Goody Headache Award.
Well used. Thank you, Alan Miller. This is Bill Dollar, and up in the tower with me is the president and general manager of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Mr. Humpy Wheeler, with a special request for you to stay at the Speedway this afternoon after after Winston Cup practice, and a very good reason why. Humpy.
Thank you, Bill. First of all, on behalf of Bruton Smith and I and all the management at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we certainly appreciate your coming out here for this beautiful Saturday afternoon and a great race. Following the Victory Circle celebration, we will have a 45-minute Winston Cup practice. And then after that, in keeping with showtime right here at Charlotte, we will have one of the most dangerous automobile stunts ever attempted by Californian Brian Carson. It is called the Explosive Sky Jump. Brian will leap off a ramp in a car. The car will explode in midair and hit about 6 cars stacked right up on top of each other, and they will fall over. It is a great stunt. We'll have it here, and it'll come in about an hour after Winston Cup practice, so you folks that want to see a tremendous stunt, stay on. Again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Humpy. Got to see that. Got to see that right after Winston Cup practice this afternoon.
Bill, what I'll do...
Right there. Mr. Donald, you're going to handle this? Very heavy, sir.
Test.
Does tomorrow what he did today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a big round of applause for today's winner here in the Winn-Dixie 300, Tim Richmond. Standing with me is the Vice President of Winn-Dixie. He'll make the presentation to Tim at this time.
Tim, congratulations today. You ran a great race, and I told you last night what you're going to do, and you done good. Well, thank you very much. Again, I want to say thank you to Winn-Dixie for supporting our sport, and for Humpy Wheeler and Bruton Smith and all the Charlotte Motor Speedway staff to put on an event like this. You know, if we had more like this, that one up the road that's going to take place tomorrow wouldn't hold a candle to this one.
That's absolutely the truth, and you drove a great race, and congratulations, Tim.
Thank you.
I got one last question. Tim, you talked about Chelsea, your luck charm. Now, you're going to have to expand on that just a little bit. What's that all about?
Well, it's a friend of mine's daughter. His name's Poncho from Vermont. If you're ever up in Mount Snow, Vermont, that's where Chelsea's from. And she was born a year ago today, and last year she was my good luck charm, except she was up home, and now they brought her down here for today, and little Chelsea was my good luck charm today.
She's going to be here tomorrow then, right?
Yeah, I guarantee she'll be here tomorrow.
All right, Tim Richmond, very happy here in Victory Lane.
Is going to Dale Earnhardt. Most of the folks that were watching in the press box directly below us here at the start-finish line came to the same consensus. So Dale Earnhardt picks up that prize, which is kind of bittersweet. It gives you some recognition for determination and trying hard, but coming up with some kind of headache. You know, they don't give that award on serious crashes and stuff, but the folks who really try, it could go to crew chiefs or drivers or anybody.
Have names these days. What's the name for that car? Well, I was going to name it Whoopi, but I think we're going to leave it Whoopi this time. You know what they say, what makes you lucky? Well, Whoopi made me lucky.
No, what is it that makes you lucky?
Or changes your luck, I guess is what they say. There's a big guard downstairs waiting to change my luck when I get back down there, so you guys might want another story. You might want to follow me when I leave. You mean what I call him? Leon? Leon Spinks Pearson, we call him now. Oh, he's my hero. Hell, he's my hero.
Can I see some hands if you want to ask Tim some questions? The question is, it's the same car that won Darlington, or ran Darlington, Daytona, etc.
Yeah, same car. It's a car that Earnhardt and I got together down in Darlington last year, down in Turn 1, when Darrell won the car. That's the same car.
Okay, the question is, when Tim and Dale were running side by side there, was it fun or was it aggravating?
Well, it was more, you know, it wasn't something I was doing on purpose. I would have rather, you know, got on by and went on. What I was trying to do was see if I can get the tongue, and the tongue's hanging out of those V6s, so I didn't have to contend with them. You know, I much rather would have not been there. I was wanting to get by. You know, I figured I was in the safest position being in the front. You know, the V6s are not known for their longevity, and sure enough, you know, that's what I was mainly trying to get around for, and that wasn't just a put-on show. That was hard work trying to get by him, which I couldn't there for a while, and the one pit stop's what put us out front. Would you get off the phone, please? Huh?
Any other questions?
Did you know you had it won when you took the big drink down there on the reviewing station?
Okay. When Tim was introduced this morning, he took a big gulp of soda or something while he was being interviewed. Did he know he had it won then?
No, but that vodka sure helps. No. Sure gives you a little bit of confidence, I ain't kidding you. So we just went out there and did it. Yeah. Now that was ice water, and I didn't expect it to be this hot today, and I've been very sick anyway. So I figured I was dehydrated, so I was drinking as much water as I could prior to the start of this race, and that was what was in there. Surrounded by ice and a yellow cup.
Okay, the question is, was the V8 maybe a little bit too much for Earnhardt's V6 to contend with?
Yeah, it was, you know, when he wasn't exactly right. Had our cars been matched identically chassis-wise, see the corners, the V8 would have been a little bit too much for it. He seemed to really start blowing up a little bit. He might have been doing it. He might have had a lot of gear in the car. I don't know. Because he was coming off the corners pretty well. But the V8 was a little bit much for him at the end of the straightaway, I noticed. But then his foot made up for it. After I left it here, he was still on. Here it comes. So.
All right, the question is, how many times did Tim and Dale touch metal to metal?
Probably 3 or 4 times. I got him once off of 2 over there. Actually, it was just on his door a little bit, and on his left front tire, we gave him a yellow stripe. Then we got together going into 3 down there. That was the fun one. Probably 3, maybe 4 times we got together. I mean, we were looking over at one another and smiling and stuff.
Okay, the question is, when Tim started to put distance on Dale, was it that Tim was getting stronger or Dale was getting weaker?
That's my mom, but never mind. I don't know for sure. I believe I probably got a little better. We'd had problems all day long. The track started to come our way because of that big cloud that hung over here for a while. So I think we probably got a little better. Plus, you know, I didn't see him back there, but I noticed just before that first pit stop when we kind of split apart there, I guess he must have had a bad stop or something, or maybe we had a great one, I don't know. But he seemed to be his car was starting to fade a little bit then, where his strong points had been, so he probably faded a little bit too. It's probably a combination.
Anyone else? Okay, how about tomorrow?
Things are all right. Things aren't too bad right now, so.
Tim, what's the name of your Winston Cup car tomorrow?
Well, this is Harry's. This is number 7. This is Harry's cars, and he names them by number. If it was mine, I don't know what I'd call it. I wouldn't. He won't let me name it. It's not what he won't let me. I haven't asked him if I could. So there's Vanessa is the other one. Is the 27 car. That's who's here under the Aggie guard. Blue colors. Now that's Vanessa. I know her very well.
Does Rusty know he's driving Vanessa?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure they know. I don't know. I haven't heard what he's named some of them over there.
Okay, I think Tim's got a television interview in a couple minutes, but he may be available now for one-on-ones real quickly.
Hello.